Click the link in our app or at bettersports.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Backyard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone, and welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined maybe by the ghost of Coop right now. We got you, Coop? We do not. It's just me right now. John Luke will not be here with us. He's got to go deal with some guy named Jerry or something like that. And we got Joey in the chat saying, ooh, love that intro video. Shout out to Tommy. Shout out to Tommy for some of those assets. Speaking of Tommy, on this Monday morning, bright and early, we got Tommy in the chat with a hear ye, hear ye. Every man, woman, and child, the playoffs are set, and it's going to be wild. Jaguars versus Chargers, Dolphins versus Bills, Bengals versus Ravens. Kansas City is pure thrills. Niners and Hawks, Bucks and Boys, Vikings and Giants. Eagles got some toys. Buckle up for the playoffs because here we go. Now, oi, it's time for the show. Woo! That's a beauty, Tommy. That's a beauty. And the playoffs are set. We got some killer matchups in these playoffs. We know the field now. We don't have to talk about it hypothetically anymore. It's all set. Some teams were happy made it. Some teams I know were disappointed didn't. Wanted to see the Lions in there, but that's okay. Geno Smith and the Seahawks taking that last spot is going to be fun to watch in the playoffs as well. Albert in here saying, did you see that Gengar hat Jamal Williams was wearing, Simon? Man, boy, did I ever. And I was explaining to my girlfriend last night, we were watching the game, and I'm trying to tell her, like, how much I love Jamal Williams. And as I'm telling her, he does two of the most sensual hip thrusts ever. Whenever he scores a touchdown, he goes ahead and runs one in right away so that she can watch the example of it immediately. And she goes, oh, that's your friend, right? And I was like, that's my friend. That's the guy right there. Coop, we got you.
Woo, it's a spooky ghost.
Woo!
Ooh. I don't think I'm showing up on camera still, am I?
Not that I see.
Ghost show, dude. What's up? I just took my shirt off, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm getting the three dots are giving me a little bit of anxiety. It's like you're not responding to my message. Like you started typing on iMessage, but you didn't finish responding.
Think of it more like Bob Marley, Three Little Birds, and then it'll give you less anxiety.
I don't know if it's because I can't see you, but I feel like I can just hear you so well. You're just coming through so crisp and clear.
Bro, are you Daredevil now?
I'm just Daredevil. I'm reverse Daredevil. Whenever people disappear, I can hear them better.
Right. Which is actually, I wouldn't say it's better because it's not applicable very often, but at this particular moment, it's kind of dope.
It's wildly particular during the pandemic on early morning Zoom calls.
You know, the funny thing about early morning Zoom calls is that my camera was working on that. So it seems that this might be a problem on the other end here. So yeah, if anyone out there, if you can figure out exactly what it is that Keith and Ernie do, let me know. Because I have no idea.
Tommy in here said, looking good, Coop. Is that a new haircut?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. New haircut, dude. And you notice the chest hair, because again, I popped my shirt off immediately once I realized I didn't have to worry about, the camera or anything like that for a little bit at least until we figured that out. So
it's gonna be hilarious when the camera randomly cuts back in and you're completely shirtless, sitting there, feet up on the desk, picking your nose.
I'm lying down. I'm not sure if you guys can tell. I'm actually in my bed now.
In bed, just laying there shirtless.
Yeah, just chilling, dude. Yeah, eating a tomato. Yeah, I'm eating it right now, everybody. the tomato that I'm supposed to eat for that. This is the week of the tomato, by the way, everybody. Everyone who's anxiously awaiting my suffering, I will eat that tomato this week, but I'm eating one right now. If you couldn't tell.
But you're gonna eat another one when your camera comes back. This is just warm up.
Oh, I eat them all the time. It's the whole not wanting to eat it. That's just for show. Like I eat them like apples, like no salt, no nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just lying about that whole not hating tomatoes thing. I eat them like a snack on a daily basis. Is that what you're saying?
Just regularly, dude. Just popping them. Pop right down the hatch. Right after dinner, glass of milk and a tomato, warm glass of milk and a tomato.
Coop, did you see the Gengar hat Jamal Williams was wearing that Albert's talking about?
I can't see anything right now, man. I'm in the afterlife.
But did you see it? Before you entered this subliminal state of 3 blinking dots doing the worm.
No, I actually did not, dude. I heard. Oh my god! I just pulled it up. The Gengar hat with that coat.
Sick, right?
Swag, dude. I mean, I feel like he just stood up for every kid that's ever been bullied. Just wearing that.
God, dude looks so cool with the giant fur collar as well. Like he's bringing it to the mainstream.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about him.
God and anime on his side.
The power of God and anime. I've been thinking a lot about Jamal Williams lately, and at first I was like, he has to go back to the Lions, right? That was my first thought. Like, we need him on the Lions. But the more I thought about it, his contract should work like this: whatever team gets HBO Hard Knocks, he should automatically be signed by that team.
It'd be unique. It'd be a contract unlike one that's ever been written for the NFL. But I'm with you, Coop. Like, how can we have Hard Knocks without Jamal Williams on it after we had it this past season?
You can't take it away, dude. Either you just keep giving it to the Lions, or it's a package deal. Wherever that show goes, Jamal Williams is there, and he's one of the main characters. And then it's a better show.
They just let Jamal Williams show up. He's still on the Lions, but he shows up to every training camp where Hard Knocks is. He gets a week with Jamal Williams. They call it running back swap. It's like wife swap, but they do it with Jamal Williams.
Yeah, that'd be nice, dude. What they might have to swap with, the Colts get a new coach and they're eligible for Hard Knocks. Maybe they have to swap with Jonathan Taylor, but
for a week,
I mean,
they can probably make do. Frank the Tankin here says, "Morning, guys. Big win for the Lions and big win for my fantasy team. Got the ship. It's a good Monday morning. Nice job, Frank. Shout out, Frank." And then Craig in here said, "Morning, friendos." What's up, Craig? Good morning.
Morning, gang. I know you can't see me, but I'm here in spirit. We're going to see if we can fix this. Otherwise, dude, you're getting Ghost Coop all day. And Ghost Coop, his takes are slightly hotter than usual. So just keep that in mind.
They're a little bit spooky. Yeah, guys, coming up.
Spooky.
You better get your breakfast ready because we got some BYOB coming up. We're going to recap Sunday Night Football, talk through some things that maybe you should know, and then hit some Monday Night Football predictions as well. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Green Screens Media back at it again with your BSN timeout. And today we're handing out our mid-season awards in college basketball. With me, as always, the captain of our ship at Green Screens Media, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, let's start with the mid-season Wooden Award for the most outstanding player in the game.
Yeah, I got to talk about the big man from the Purdue Boilermakers, Zach Edey, the current #1 team in the country. This guy's just an absolute animal. His ability to stay on the floor this year for over 30 minutes a game has raised the ceiling of this team to national championship aspirations. He's averaging over 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. He's an absolute load in the paint and one of the most dominant forces in college basketball.
Yeah, Edey doing just about everything for these Boilermakers. I want to go over to Coach of the Year. Going to go chalk here, technically rock chalk. Bill Self for the Kansas Jayhawks. He has this team all the way up to #3 in the country on a 13-1 record, including 2-0 in a very tough Big 12 conference. Probably what's most impressive about this run this year is in the context of the players that he lost in the offseason. There's no more McCormick. There's no more Abaji, Martin, Braun. But yet again, Bill Self has reloaded, and he's getting everyone's best shot. I think he's got these Jayhawks primed for a title defense.
Yeah, I love this new look Kansas team. I think they can make some real noise come March. I want to talk about Defensive Player of the Year, Cliff Amoria from the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. This team's 3rd in defensive efficiency, and he's a big reason why. Averaging nearly 10 rebounds and 2 blocks per game, These stats, while they're impressive, they don't do this young man justice. He's disrupting the game on every defensive possession and one of the most fun players on that side of the ball.
Man, Rutgers is a nightmare on the defensive side. Going to go over to most improved player. For me, it's Chris Murray of Iowa. We all saw his brother Keegan explode onto the scene last year. Played well enough to get himself drafted to the NBA, but that left a void for these Iowa Hawkeyes, and one that Chris Murray has stepped up to fill in nicely. This is a player that was averaging less than 10.5 last season. Those numbers have more than doubled this year, 20.4 points, 9.8 rebounds per game. Chris Murray looks like a legit star on the rise.
Yeah, I love what Chris Murray has done now that he's out of the shadow of his brother. But I want to talk about a potential Cinderella story come March. Maybe an upset, the glass slipper here, the Florida Atlantic Owls. 13-1, 3-0 in Conference USA so far. Head coach Dusty May has done a fantastic job. His team's headlined by guards John L. Davis and Elijah Martin. They've rattled off 12 straight wins, including victories over Florida and UAB. Don't sleep on these Owls come March. They may make some noise.
I think this glass slipper will fit for FAU, and that will do it for your BSN timeout. Make sure you stay locked here on the Better Sports Network and check out Green Screens Media on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube so you don't miss a minute of our college basketball coverage.
Hey, we got the hog himself back up here. No more Ghost Coop. Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined by not Ghost Coop, in the flesh, real life Coop. How you doing?
Just pinch myself, see if I'm real. See if I'm a real boy.
Are you?
I think so. I am. It was it was interesting being a ghost for a bit there. Reflecting on it. It was a difficult time, not really knowing who you are or where you are, though it was pretty cool to be able to sit here and, eat my bagel while you were talking and not really listen and kind of look at my phone. So they were good parts and they were bad parts, but now I'm back. I'm here. I'm live. So why don't we get after it?
I made it, baby. And J-Wall in here saying morning.
Hey.
What's up, J-Wall? J-Wall was at the Eagles game yesterday, so got to go out there and enjoy that. Hope you had a good time, J-Wall. Looked like an absolute blast to get to be there for that game. And Coop, now that you're a real boy, I got some good news for you. We've got an NFL playoff challenge here on BSN that we are launching today now that the regular season is over. Fantasy football is continuing into the NFL postseason. You can join our free NFL playoff challenge sponsored by our friends over at Lucra. You're going to compete against Better Sports Network hosts and everyone in the chat, the community out there. All you have to do is click the link in our app right now or at bettersports.com to register for free and set your lineup. The top scorer wins $500 cash plus an autographed full-size NFL helmet of the winner's choice and a free entry into the 2023 Real-Time Sports Fantasy Championship with a chance to win their $500,000 grand prize. So compete in the NFL Playoff Challenge sponsored by Lucra. Challenge friends in the games you play and the sports you watch with Lucra. Man, some good prizes. Full-size NFL helmet of the person's choice with $500 cash. You can put all that cash in the helmet and then walk around with just your autographed helmet full of cash.
You put all in ones, have a $500 big helmet cash party at your house and just let everybody kind of reach in there, grab a handful.
You get a couple other helmets and fill it with like chips and things like that. And then just sitting next to it, you have the autographed full-size helmet full of cash.
You got to have them all autographed. Yeah, I love J-Wall, dude. I'm glad he had a great time at the Eagles, but I'm going to kick his ass in this playoff challenge. So, sorry, J-Wall. You're getting beat up, dude. You're getting beat up. Coop. And I'm beating you up when I see you at the Expo, too. You get beat up twice.
Speaking of playoffs, there's a team that did not make it. The Packers losing to the Lions last night didn't make it. And that's going to bring us into our first segment of BYOB this morning. I hope you guys brought your own breakfast. We brought the stories. We brought the topics. You guys just got to bring something to eat. Packers eliminated from playoff contention. And I don't know about you, but the way Aaron Rodgers walked off the field with his arm around Randall Cobb, everyone cheering him on, waving to the crowd, that really felt like his last home game at Lambeau Field. I don't know how you felt about it.
I'll tell you what, for me, so part of it, I was like, I don't know, but I'm not sure if you noticed, there's one part that felt like a dead giveaway to me that he's seriously considering it. And that's, I forget who it was, but somebody came up to him and asked if he wanted to do the jersey swap. Guys do it all the time where they take their jerseys, they swap them out, they autograph them. And you could hear him say, "Nah, I'm going to keep this one." Hey, I mean, dude, that tells me that might be a sentimental jersey to him. The last jersey he ever wears at Lambeau, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It's hard. It would be tough if he goes out the way he went out. But I mean, the guy's a clear first ballot automatic Hall of Famer. So what are you gonna say?
Yeah, Albert saying Jameson Williams. Coop.
Yeah,
man.
I hope Jameson Williams understands that context, because he didn't say like, "Oh, hey, by the way, it might be my last game or whatever, so don't worry about it. It's not you, it's me." Like, I hope Jameson Williams didn't feel like shafted there by, asking for the jersey, because, that could hurt your feelings, right?
Jameson Williams is just sitting there F5 in the news on Reddit, waiting for the Aaron Rodgers retirement announcement or the Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay announcement. Like, okay, it wasn't me, it was him. Okay,
he better quit.
Now, do you think, let's say hypothetically, this is his last home game at Lambeau, do you think it's because he doesn't plan on playing another game with the Green Bay Packers, or he doesn't plan on playing another game? Like, is he retiring, or is this him going to another team?
It's the thing with him going to another team is that, like, he's got that big contract, right? So it would have to be kind of a specific trade. I mean, maybe he goes to get plays for Tommy's Raiders. Tommy, would you be interested in Mr. Aaron Rodgers coming to lead that team? Just the new Las Vegas Packers with Rodgers and Devontae Adams?
He said, I would. That's him. That's where, like, you're sitting there and you're trying to stay calm because of the offer put in front of you on the table. Like in the movies where all of a sudden somebody comes into a lot of money and they're like, "Well, how does $100,000 sign?" And they're like, "Yes, that would be fine. I could handle one Aaron Rodgers on my team." Trying to play it cool over there.
I could do one of those for sure.
JL says change their name to the Las Vegas Rodgers instead of the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, maybe you can knock a couple mil off his contract and just give him naming rights to the team.
It's pretty solid, dude. Maybe a little too close to the Los Angeles Dodgers in terms of team names. but it's got I think that's why it's got a good ring to it, right? It's the Los and the Odgers at the end that makes you sound, that sounds like a team name.
The Las Vegas Rodgers, of course. What's their logo?
It's that picture of him on the ground with his head sideways and like his chin strap like over his whole face. That's a beaut.
And their colors are just clay colors.
Yeah, it's just like psychedelic. No, it's then they wear tie-dye t-shirts.
Their jerseys are tie-dye.
Yeah, tie-dye. So, dude, have you ever heard that story about the Olympic? Well, I think it was the Lithuanian basketball team.
I don't think I have.
So Lithuania, I believe it was Lithuania. They qualified for the Olympics, but they didn't have like the funding to go and actual like play for the Olympics. So, anyone that knows the full, true, definitely right story, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just going off memory here. But so they didn't really have the funding they needed to go. So the Grateful Dead actually helped raise them money. And when they went and played, they wore these like Grateful Dead tie-dye uniforms to the Olympics or whatever tournament it was. So they're out there are these like Lithuanian Grateful Dead basketball jerseys.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That is.
And that's what I picture the Aaron Rodgers team jerseys to be like.
Oh my God.
Yeah, did you pull them out, dude?
Yeah, these are pretty freaking sick. I can't believe they did that. Shout out the Grateful Dead getting Lithuania to the Olympics. Also, we got Tommy in here saying Jolly Roger, of course. Jolly Rogers is the perfect name. That's the name of the pirate on the flag. The Las Vegas Rodgers. They don't even have to change anything.
Genius, dude. The Jolly Rogers. Now he has to be traded. I'm putting the paperwork through tomorrow to move him with the team and also to tie Jamal Williams to Hard Knocks. Let's get this stuff done, man. It's important stuff.
This is the year we don't delay on these kind of things, Coop. We get the paperwork in early so that it doesn't have to wait another full season.
again, dude.
Again,
So-
we always say we're going to do it early, and then we just sit here twiddling our thumbs, and all of a sudden it's August, and we didn't get our paperwork in.
Dang it. So we can't talk about the games from yesterday without talking about what the heck happened with the Houston Texans. Like, that team they can't even suck right, dude. They can't even lose right. Like, all you had to do was be as bad as you've been all year, and they come out of nowhere and just put together absurd drives and circumstances to rob themselves of the first pick. Did you watch that one, dude?
Absolutely absurd. Like, Chicago had to lose 10 in a row, and the Texans just had to suck a little bit. Know what I mean? Like, they set themselves up perfectly to suck and lose this, to have the first overall pick. And then they come out here and act like a playoff team in the last game of the season.
Listen to this tweet from Roger Sherman, whose Twitter handle is literally just @Roger. So this guy was on Twitter pretty early. Just looked it up, and the Texans were the only team with 2 4th and 10 conversions in the same game this year. And they did them both on the same drive in the 4th quarter of week 18 to ensure that they would not get the number 1 pick. And one of those included a 4th and 20 touchdown pass to win the game. What the heck are you doing, dude? Like, unbelievable.
Just take a knee. Just throw it out of the back of the end zone. Just take your first overall pick.
This is classic Adam Gase all over again for the Jets. Like, you know you're getting fired, so you just go crazy to win the games and sabotage. They had to fire Adam Gase because he was sabotaging the team by winning games. Like, oh my goodness! I mean, the team played great. They looked unbelievable. So I don't know. What do you think's more important? As the Lions showed us, the winning culture, kind of important, right? But would you rather have the first pick, or would you rather end the year with that? We got something special here, feeling.
I don't think 3-13-1 is really a winning culture, even if that win came in week 18. Like, you know what I mean? The Lions were 1 win away, or 1 team losing away from making the playoffs. The Seahawks.
I'm talking about how the Lions ended last year. Which, funny you mentioned it. Do you remember what the Lions' record was last year?
3-13-1.
Exactly. On the dot.
On the dot. Huh. Well, that anecdotally ruins a lot of the points I was making.
So everything you're going to say, zip it. Dude.
Throw it out the window.
That's the formula. You go 3-13-1. You come back around. You blight some decaps. Go 9-8. You knock your rivals out of the playoffs. You don't go to the playoffs yourself, right? Because you're still rebuilding. And then the year after that, you know what happens?
Not yet. It hasn't happened yet.
Exactly. Me neither. But we're about to see. And then whatever happens there, I can guarantee you 100% factually that the Texans will do the exact thing 2 years from now. Because that's the formula.
Craig said, hell hath no fury, like a coach scorned.
Yeah. Dude, yesterday I'm sitting there going through and I'm updating my tight end rankings, and I'm looking at the inactives on fantasyalarm.com/inactives, the best place to find the inactives. And I'm like editing my things, and I'm like, oh, look at that. Stephon Gilmore's out. I should put Brandon Cooks in the DFS lineup. And then you know what I did? I just went about my day. I didn't do that. And pretty good day. Pretty good day for that fella. 2 touchdowns. Game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. What do we do? What's going on with Brandon Cooks next year? I assume not on the Texans, but will he be an undervalued fantasy asset again?
Dude,
not that he was this year. You know what I mean? This was a weird year for him, but
yeah, down year for him.
Almost annually, he's an undervalued fantasy asset.
It was a down year for him, and I felt like in part it was his fault. Like, he did get hurt, but he also clearly had some attitude issues. He was upset he didn't get moved. They took the captain off his chest. I find it hard to believe that he's going to be back next year. I think that, he's done enough to prove that teams should want him. And even though he's still under contract next year, someone will trade for him.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He's under contract for the next 2 years, technically, but there's an easy out in 2024.
Yeah, we'll see him on another team, and I'll probably be drafting him. I guess it depends on where he lands. There are some situations you wouldn't be as thrilled with, but he's still a good wide receiver, and we saw it this year when he was on the field and healthy and happy that he was on the field.
And happy seems to be an important thing. I mean, there's some guys honestly. Like, and I don't know Brandon Cooks personally, but there's some guys that just seem like there's something going on with them where teams just don't want them around for the long haul. They end up getting traded over and over and over. One of those guys was Brandon Lloyd, and he played for a ton of different teams, the 49ers, the Broncos, the Patriots. And I know that there were people in the locker room that came out and said, like, I remember distinctly, like, a quote from Julian Edelman saying, like, that guy is kind of weird. Like, and, he just kept getting moved and moved and moved. And Brandon Cooks now looks like that guy too. Like, he's now on his 4th team. He went from the Saints to the Patriots, to the Rams, to the Texans, and now he's probably going to move from the Texans to another team. I don't know. Kind of weird with certain guys just don't stick, whereas other guys will play 20 years in the same place.
I mean, I also think there's like a talent level, like a window of talent that makes you more movable. We see it with quarterbacks a lot more. Know what I mean? Like Ryan Fitzpatrick, where like you are good enough to be the main guy on just about any team, but not good enough for a team to want to build around you. So you end up being like this stopgap type player. So I don't know Brandon Cook. So it could also just be he lies in that gap that like, yeah, we want to bring him in, but I don't know if we're going to build around him. So let's let the next guy do it.
It's true. That's true. And there are certain guys like his skill set. He is that like field stretching speedster, right? He's crazy fast. And, those guys do actually typically they end up being hired guns towards the end of their career. Like you look at like Deshaun Jackson, like teams are just like, all right, we need that speedy guy. We'll bring in he's the guy. So maybe that is the case with him. But I don't know. We've seen it with guys like Mike Wallace too, where clearly Mike Wallace had some attitude issues. So who knows? Hard to speculate. I'm obviously willing to speculate because I love doing that, but we don't all have to do that. As Craig in the chat says, we're all a little weird. And I think that's true. Anybody that watches the show knows that to be true.
And the other thing, the Texans, this wouldn't be the first player in recent memory that's been upset with the Texans organization. DeAndre Hopkins comes to mind as well as being fairly unhappy there. So the Texans organization hasn't been the best run over the past year or so. So that can go in Brandon Cook's favor as well. Albert said, what team would be the best fit for Brandon Cooks? You got a team in mind, Cooper, you'd like to see him end up?
Yeah, I mean, it would. If you go for a win now team, I mean, the team I always pick is the Bills because I think it's hilarious to see Gabriel Davis fans reel and can go, you know what I mean? But like win now teams, like let's say for instance, the Vikings somehow decided to run it back with basically the same team. If you were to take him and have Kevin O'Connell's offense and have Adam Thielen as the split end, that's just a possession guy, possession red zone guy. And then you would have Justin Jefferson as the every down guy that moves back and forth between slot and flanker. Then you could have Brandon Cooks as the third field stretching, basically the Van Jefferson that Kevin O'Connell had in the Rams, but a better Van Jefferson, or Deshaun Jackson when he was with the Rams. And that would be a perfect 3 wide receiver tandem of field stretcher, possession guy and Adam Thielen, and then do it all guy and Justin Jefferson, and then TJ Hawkinson. Like that would be to me a very complete offense. So that's an example of where I would go with a guy like that.
That'd be fun. That would be fun. Him on that Minnesota Vikings offense, opposite of Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, you could also put him opposite of Michael Pittman as a field stretcher for the Colts, right? Then you just got to figure
chuck him the ball.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Derek Carr,
Jeff Saturday. Is he going to play quarterback next year?
You think that's what this is all about? Like all those years playing center, just giving the ball to Peyton Manning. He's just finally like, it's my time.
It's a Ricky Bobby situation.
He lost all that. Yeah. Why can't I win? Like if you, the whole time Peyton Manning was like, well, if you're quarterback, how am I going to be quarterback?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I think we're there. I hope that he holds on to that job, Jeff Saturday, because I think he's fun. I think, him getting that job is good for the sport. It's interesting. So I hope he holds on to it. Though today is, what do they call it? Bloody Monday, Red Monday, Black Monday. I'm not sure what they call it, but today is the day that all the coaches get fired, right?
You think we see some more?
I think so, man. Lovie Smith was already fired.
Yeah, I saw the Lovie Smith news. Who's next?
Maybe The other Smith could be Arthur Smith, but I don't know. I thought that'd be the case, but Dio Ledbetter, when he came on, said that they really like him over there. So maybe not him. Oh, do you got anybody in mind that could get the axe?
Cliff.
Oh, Matt Patricia gets fired. It's not even head coach, but just smell you later. Yeah, Cliff, dude. Cliff is going to be a tough one, because if and when that does happen, that offense is so unique, so uniquely built. The air raid offense with like the splits for the linemen and using 4 wide receivers all the time. Whoever comes in, if they run a different offense, the overhaul is not going to be a quick process.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm not sure they should fire Cliff, but that's one that I feel like we see rumors about. We've seen it for a couple years now. Like he's got to get it together, or he's gonna lose his team. He's gonna lose his job. This might be the year. Might be the year we see it.
Yeah.
I hope not, though. I hope we keep getting some more Cliff.
Yeah. And now I've also been seeing some weird rumors about Sean McVay taking a little time. Yeah, Albert just mentioned in the chat. Same time. Hey, Albert. Same thoughts. Sick thoughts. That they could that he could take some time, or maybe they want to move in a different direction, but I know McVay has talked a lot about potentially retiring early or taking a break or doing whatever. I know he'd be great in the booth if he ever wants to do that, but I don't know.
I mean, you come in, you blow up the future cap space, future draft picks, you win a Super Bowl with a potential Hall of Fame quarterback that gets traded in. You're done before you're 35. You call it quits and you head on out into the sunset with your Super Bowl ring. You don't have to worry about the mess. You don't have to worry about the mess that's left behind, because truly, and I'm not saying that like smart ass, like, oh, just blow it up and then don't. Hey, you did your job. You got the Super Bowl. Now head on out.
Hey, thanks for the parade.
You weren't hired for the cleanup necessarily. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of love that. Love that move. That's what it's the old LeBron James in Miami move. Just thanks for going to get Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, but I'm gonna hit the road now.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Talk to you later. Smell you later,
cool.
Baker.
Yeah, or
he'll build something here.
He'll be Ray Allen and be like, go join the big 3 in Boston, and then be like, I'm gonna go join this other big 3 now. Thanks.
Do you think if he does retire, it would be, not that we have official news yet that Sean Payton's coming back, but it seems like Sean Payton's planning on making a return from his retirement that he took earlier, which I know football world, it was a little bit surprising to see Sean Payton retire. He was a young, successful coach, but then now it looks like he might be coming back. Do you think we might see something similar with Sean McVay if he leaves the game?
Yeah, I think so, dude. I mean, John Gruden did it. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like these guys, they go to the booth and then there's something there that makes them say like, oh, I still got this. Like they look around, they get a chance to take a step back and look at it all and see what's working, what's not working, and come back even better, So I could definitely see him taking a little break, go to the booth, come back and do a little more.
It's like when I'm walking down the street and I see like the high schoolers playing basketball on the basketball court, and I think like I could take them. I still got it. I still got my pickup basketball days in.
Hit him with the up and under.
Absolutely not. I would like tear an ACL and get humiliated immediately. Trying to do one between the legs pass, and then I would just trip myself and fall over.
Just go out there and throw the elbow pass and then call it a day. I see Albert in the chat. Ron Rivera getting fired. Personally, I don't want Ron Rivera to get fired. And here's why. There are certain coaches that run super highly consolidated snap shares, and that's great for fantasy football. We want it to be the same 11 guys on the field at all times. So, and Ron Rivera is one of those dudes that's like absolutely willing to run the same dudes out there every single play. I mean, he did rotate backs, but for the most part, it was when they were healthy. It was Terry McLaurin, it was John Dotson, it was Curtis Samuel, it was Logan Thomas. That was it. Like we do love that for fantasy football. The best configuration for fantasy football is actually, in my opinion, one that we don't see that often, but if you go out and you have basically a fullback, a blocking tight end, and then one pass catching tight end, one wide receiver, and a running back, that's like the best consolidation that you're ever going to see. And we saw the Ravens got very close, but they had a mobile quarterback, which kind of bleeds a lot of the life out of the offense. If you were to have that type of offense with a pocket passer, dude, the stats would be insane. The Chiefs came pretty kind of close to that with Anthony Sherman at fullback and Blake Bell at blocking tight end. And then look at Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want two dudes catching every pass. Juju and Antonio Brown. That's fantasy football for me, baby.
But if we can't get it, we'll take what Ron Rivera has given us over there,
Exactly.
where it's just clear who the secondary options are.
Exactly, man. Give me that, dude. The last thing I want is just what look at the Chiefs wide receivers these days, where it's like no one's playing every snap and everyone's rotating around, and sometimes it's Sky Moore and sometimes it's MVS.
And let's send our second tight end down the field. Let's throw Justin Watson down there.
Yeah, Justin Watson and Noah Gray and all. It's like, dude, I don't want that. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to play this guessing game. And, Kadarius Toney and all this stuff. Like, no. Jerick McKinnon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, we forget how good we had it before,
Joey in here saying about Sean Payton, anyone would need to step away if Kevin James gets cast as you in your biopic. Yeah, that would hurt my feelings a little bit. Kevin James, funny guy. But if you told me I looked like him, I might look in the mirror and go, "Huh."
Shut up. He got cast as Sean Payton.
You haven't seen that? You haven't seen those pictures? There's pictures of him in all the Saints gear.
Oh my God, that's hilarious, dude.
Paul Blart, Saints coach.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's not bad, but at the same time,
he did it a lot. Whenever I heard Kevin James as Sean Payton, I just imagined Paul Blart Mall Cop with a headset on. The pictures are much better. You know what I mean? Like Kevin James is a great actor and he fills out that role fine. But what I imagined was Paul Blart Mall Cop, like a segue on the sideline at a Saints game.
I've never seen Paul Blart Mall Cop. How is that one, Simon?
I have not seen Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Okay, so then you and I have seen it to the same degree. Like I've somehow, against my will, have seen quite a few like clips of him or GIFs and stuff. You know what I mean? But I've never actually seen it. Yeah.
That's where I am.
I've been exposed.
I watched 6.5 minutes of the worst movie I've ever seen over the weekend. I was on Netflix and just like scrolling. You know what I mean? We watched Matilda, which was a great movie. But then afterwards, I was kind of in like a musical mood. And so I typed in musical on Netflix, was just going to put something on in the background. And I'm scrolling and I see something that says Air Bud Pup Star. And it's an American Idol like style singing competition Air Bud movie. And I turned it on for 6 minutes before I had to turn it off. It was the singular worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The jokes there, like it opened with an interview on Jimmy Kibble. Jimmy Kibble was the host, and it was like a golden retriever with the worst CGI talking mouth ever, interviewing like the previous winner of Pup Star.
Oh, no.
It's pretty bad.
Oh no! So they weren't just like barking; they actually had like people voices.
Yeah, they had people voices.
I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I don't. In the original Air Bud did not talk.
And there was like a doggy prison where they had everyone in all these dogs in cells and the dogs were running the show. It was an interesting movie.
Dude, wow. So apparently Air Bud learned to talk in the 6th Air Bud. So he did not talk until the 6th one. And in that one, he became an announcer. Air Bud plugged in.
I can just see I can see the meeting now where they were like, okay, we've literally run out of sports, guys. We have nothing else he can do unless he starts talking.
In installment number 6, though, Air Bud has put his sports career on hold to nurture the young puppies he's fathered with Molly, a golden beautiful retriever living across the street. Apparently, he's also used his sports sabbatical to learn the English language, which he speaks as well as anyone I know.
That's really the only thing stopping dogs from learning English is their busy schedules. Right. They've just got such busy schedules. They've got no time to learn English.
I love how I think they wrote this and they go, apparently he took this brief sabbatical. Like they're just as surprised as anyone else that he took this moment to go learn how to talk. Wow.
Maybe they just gave vague instructions to someone else to write the script and film all the lines or record all the lines for the movie, but they didn't specify that Air Bud was a dog. And so the people who wrote the script just wrote it as a normal person. They're like, how do we explain this? He learned English. He took a break from sports. Also, the sixth Air Bud, that's when they ran out of sports. They could only think of 5 sports.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the list again. We talk about Air Bud probably more than any other show, but I'm looking at this now. Dude, how is volleyball not like the second one they picked? It was like the fifth episode, but volleyball is probably the one sport that a dog could realistically play a bit of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like the obvious dog sport. Did they not have volleyball at all?
No, they do as they're the fifth one, but he had already played like hockey at that point, or they had the chimps. What was it? The MVP, most valuable primate one was the hockey one. But like, my God, get it together, Air Bud people.
They had a primate play hockey before they had a dog play volleyball.
Unbelievable, dude.
And no tennis.
Not yet, dude. I mean, honestly though, tennis. I feel like the action for the tennis one with the tennis racket in his mouth, that would be awesome. And him chasing, right? How many dog chasing tennis ball jokes can you fit into one movie? That's the real question.
The limit does not exist. I'm pretty sure.
I can already picture in my head, like, the big basket of tennis balls falls over, and for some reason there's like 15 dogs and they all go crazy, and this one stupid looking dude is like whoop, 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 and he falls on his back. Like that probably happens 5 times in that movie.
It went from cute dog playing basketball to some weird evolution. Okay, so what is the next? Air Bud's first evolution was being able to speak because they ran out of ideas. What's next for Air Bud?
Dude, I can't. It should be tennis. I should be tennis, man. Like that.
I think opposable thumbs. I think opposable thumbs is next. He slowly just becomes human, little by little.
He took a brief sabbatical to grow thumbs.
They just keep explaining it that way. Everything like major evolutionary changes.
Yeah. Is it the same? It's supposed to be the same dog to all these? Like
Air Bud. That's his name.
Man. What a legend.
Okay. You know what? We got a lot about Air Bud out here. We'll talk more. We have a full hour of Air Bud talk coming up, but there was something else I saw that I wanted to talk about, Coop, and it's that the Broncos plan to interview Jim Harbaugh for their head coaching job early this week per sources. Denver's new owners want to swing big, and landing Harbaugh, the former 49ers and current University of Michigan coach, would be about as big as it gets. What do you think about them swinging big for a guy like Harbaugh?
Didn't he say that he keeps saying that he's going to stay at Michigan, right? Like he keeps coming out and saying, or
he has said that, but there were also reports that the Panthers talked to him, but only after heavy pushing from the Harbaugh side, that it wasn't on their end. Did you see that report?
No, that's hilarious though, dude. He's like, come on, take me out to dinner.
That's exactly what's going on. They said like, well, like we're not really interested, but I guess we can go on one date.
If I was him, like, yeah, if I spent all this time like recruiting kids and like, trying to do all this different stuff, it'd be nice to be recruited myself a little bit, get the other side to be like, come in my kitchen wearing cleats and scuff up the hardwoods the way
have them put on their nice jock strap.
Exactly, dude, the nicest one. Oh, dude, I actually, speaking of jock straps, can we do a quick sidebar here? I just saw something. Somebody pointed out that Connor McDavid, you know who Connor McDavid is?
No.
So he plays tennis. No, Connor McDavid is arguably the best hockey player in the world right now. Plays for the Colorado Avalanche. Somebody pointed out that he has a superstition that he still wears the same socks that he wore going all the way back to like when he was in like Pee-wee hockey. And somebody procured a picture of these socks, and they are as disgusting as you would imagine, right? Which then led somebody else on Reddit to point out that Sidney Crosby still wears the same jockstrap that he's worn since he was a kid. And the comments from him, so somebody held this thing up. They had a picture of it, dude. It looked like it had been sprayed with like a fudge flamethrower. It looked like it had been.
Don't say that.
I'm sorry, but it was like, it's like brown and like just like disgusting, dude. Like it looks like it had been a fire that you put out with like you stomped
flamethrower.
You stomped on it with your boot, but your boot was covered in dog, dude. Like that's what this thing looks like. And he goes, Because the real hero here is and then he said the name of whoever their equipment guy is, because he's the one that keeps this thing stitched together. And I'm like, dude, you're making this guy wash your 20-year-old, 30-year-old jockstrap? You kidding?
Just get a new jockstrap. You know what's good luck? Clean balls. Like, that's what's good luck. You're gonna feel so fresh, man. Oh my god, that's vile. I did pull up the socks, and it's got like his toes peeking out. That's disgusting. And under ice skates, it's got to be cold under there.
Bro, pull up. Yeah, exactly, dude. I think I figured he would just wear other socks over them, but he just got his toes out, just rocking. He probably gets crazy blisters. I get blisters if I go ice skating for 2 seconds.
Craig in here said Fudge Flamethrower was my stripper name for a semester in law school. I'm not sure how I feel about like I might take a step back if they said, and our next performer is Fudge Flamethrower.
Like that. Yeah, dude. Now taking the stage. Yeah, I think that's a check please moment for me, dude, when the Fudge Flamethrower comes out.
We got NKC.
But you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do to get through law school. Yeah, what's up, NKC? How you doing, brother?
Welcome.
Yeah, take a look at that jock strap, dude. The thing looks ragged. The thing looks like if you gave that to Dobby, the house elf, Dobby would be like, "No, I'm staying a slave.
I'm not free.
I'm all set. Yeah, I'm not. This ain't clothes, dude. I'm good."
Oh, gross. I did not. Why did I Google that? Now in my Google history is Sidney Crosby jockstrap.
Yeah, Fudge Flamethrower. Like, now I forget what I said. We were gonna do a quick sidebar.
Jim Harbaugh.
That's right, dude.
Broncos.
Yeah, so I mean, wherever Harbaugh goes, he's a great coach. And for me personally, like as a huge football fan, but primarily NFL over college, I just want Jim Harbaugh part of my game. I want him part of the NFL because I love his quotes, man. This guy, he's a quote machine, dude. He's an absolute force, and none of it makes sense, which makes it way better. So yeah, give me Jim Harbaugh in the NFL by any means necessary. I don't care what team he coaches. I honestly don't.
He says the weirdest things. What did he say? I take a vitamin every day. It's called a steak.
Dude, like, you're such a doofus. Dude, he drinks so much milk. Have you guys heard this guy talk about milk? I remember seeing him.
He said if worms had machine guns, then birds wouldn't be scared of them.
Yeah. He goes, I truly believe on vitamins, also talking about steak. He goes, I truly believe number 1 natural steroid is sleep. And the number 2 natural steroid is milk, whole milk. And 3 would be water. And then 4 would be steak.
He says ridiculous things. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Before they had crunchy peanut butter, I would put peanuts in the creamy peanut butter. Before they had crunchy peanut butter, like he predates crunchy peanut butter.
Dude, before we go to break, I had to find the quote he had on vacation, dude. He goes, they asked him on taking time off. He goes, I don't take time off. I don't take vacations. I don't get sick. I don't observe major holidays. I'm a jackhammer. Dude, he's the best, man. We need him back. I don't care if he coaches the Broncos, the Colts. Like, he can come and coach any team in the actually my division has pretty good coaches. So he's gonna have to coach in a different division, but I don't care where he coaches. I want him in the NFL. I need him bad.
Bill Belichick gets traded. They bring Harbaugh in to coach the Patriots.
That would be the best, dude. I would love that. He would get absolutely skewered by the media here, but he's immune to it. He's completely immune to it. He's the best.
We got Dustin here saying, what's up, boys? What's up, Dustin? Welcome in. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Coming up, guys, we've got some Moreau You Know. We're going to make some Monday Night Football predictions as well. And hand out some of our unpopular opinions. And as always, if you guys have fantasy questions or just other general questions, throw them in the chat. We'd be more than happy to answer any and everything you could throw our way. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
Can't miss Mitch is hanging out with Rick Kamla here. He's with Roster Watch. I want to let you know something here, my friend. I'm a listener. I'm a seeker of knowledge, okay? And I know it sounds cheesy if I said I'm a seeker of wisdom, but I am. And Mitch, I've learned a lot from our interviews here on Better Sports Network. Because what you just said is something that I've had to work through in my dome. This has been my first time with a full-time gig in the betting space, right? I've dabbled in and I've bet a million times, but it's on a huge platform here with the betting analysis. And so I'm learning, I'm evolving, I'm accumulating information and wisdom. And through what you've been telling me, trust the data, right? It's been like working on me. And a lot of times I talk my way out of a winner, Mitch. And it's about just trusting, like, okay, so if I got a vibe on a player in a big time basketball game and it's a superstar showdown and all this kind of stuff, and I have a predetermined vibe and I go in and I look, and every single indicator that I look at is under. Why am I going to go over? Just follow the numbers and listen to the data. And guess what, can't miss Mitch? I have been doing that. And I've been missing out a lot of NBA props because of blowouts, load management, and all that stuff. Is that a complaint? But I've hit a couple of unders recently that didn't feel good, can't miss Mitch, right? They didn't feel good at all.
Unders never feel good.
They don't feel good, but I said all of the trends say unders. I hit on them both. And I literally thought of you when I hit on those, man. But this is really sound advice for everybody out there, isn't it?
It really is, and sometimes it's hard. If you want to gamble. That's when you can do dumb. It really is. Have fun at the roulette table. That's gambling. If you want to actually try and have sustainability, sports betting, you've got to have a system that's backed by data. And you've got to find the data that correlates to scoring points and what the opposing points are going to score against them as well. It's not hard. All the data's out there. You've got to just play with the numbers, and you got to continue to stick with that system, back test it, play with it, and then you're a sports bettor. You're not gambling.
Talk sports with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Better Sports Network.
Hogs up, baby. Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's in the game.
It's in the game, baby. The Patriots lost, so I'm wearing Bruins gear today.
It's hockey season now.
It's
you move on
officially
quickly.
It would be Celtic season, but they haven't been playing well. That's how fair weather I get to be, and it's still Celtic season. It always is. And there's Pedro Martinez up there. So,
fair weather.
So we're
does the weather directly impact your fandom? Like, does the weather in Boston make people less tolerant with bad teams? You're like, we're already putting up with this awful weather. I'm not going to put up with a bad Patriots team as well.
To be honest, dude, it's we're kind of immune to the weather. You know, it's like I know if it snows down in any of the places where you live, you know, an inch or so, they shut the world down.
Well, I only live one place.
Atlanta as well. I was thinking about the hat. So
that is true. That is true.
And you actually did go back. You know, you're kind of floating around, dude. I see you around, all right? So I follow your social media, you know, so I know that you live different places. So, but yeah, any of those places, just a little bit of snow shuts them down. Here, like, it needs to be snow at the right time. Like, if it snows during the day and then stops, we could get a foot and people are going to work tomorrow. It needs to snow like heavily overnight for them to be like, all right, we need like an hour to clean this up. So yeah, we're not worried about the weather here. And the beautiful thing about the Bruins and the Celtics is that the stadium is also a train station underneath TD Garden.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's also a subway, dude. So it's like multi-layered, where it's like the stadium's here, and then there's underneath that is like the train station, and then underneath that is the subway. So if you're in the city, you take the subway. If you're outside, you take the commuter rail right in. So it's just easy in and out. Half the people that go to the games just go right underground into a train. It's pretty sick.
Beautiful. Dustin said Bruins look so good right now. The Bruins look good. I haven't been watching hockey.
Oh, the Bruins are steamrolling. David Pastrnak already has 50 points, dude. they brought in this goalie that had been like kind of he kind of been bouncing around everywhere. Linus Ullmark played for the Sabres for a little bit, but on the Bruins all of a sudden he's like a Vezina Trophy candidate. He's just nasty. Should we do a hockey show, Simon? Should we do hockey?
Hockey. I know all sorts of hockey things.
The chat wants to talk about hockey, dude. You see, you got Dustin in here talking hockey. You got Jay in here. Pasta's killing it, dude. We got Brad Marchand, dude, the nose face killer. We talking
I also
about
see
hockey.
Jay saying the Hurricanes are hosting the Stadium Series outdoor game, and I'm worried it's going to be too hot and the ice is going to melt. They got that taken care of, surely, right? From a tech standpoint, like they got something figured out to get the ice not melting out there.
You would think, dude. You would think. Dustin, are you a Sabres fan? I know you're a Bills fan. Are you a Sabres fan too?
Surely he's a Sabres fan, right?
You don't know. You never know. You never know. Yeah, Jay. Marchand is a rat, but he's our rat. Brad, yeah, Sabres fan, dude. And I think I want to say Allmark did play for the Sabres at some point, but no, he didn't. Yeah, he did. He played for the Sabres forever and then came to us. Yeah. So Allmark, pretty cool that he's doing it big. So we'll see what happens.
Every year.
Who's your hockey team? Simon, if you had to pick one.
If I have to pick one, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. I went to their arena when I was like 9 years old, and that was around the time that the Thrashers left Atlanta, which was the team I grew up going to games to. So it was about picking a new team, and that was the other team I had any sort of connection to. I like bought a hat at their stadium, thought it was so cool, went to the NHL Hall of Fame there in Toronto as a kid, and so that's who I started cheering for.
The Maple Leafs, their logo is cool, but you picked legit the saddest. That team is their ability to blow it is unrivaled. One time they lost to the Bruins when they were up by like 4 goals with like 5 minutes left in the game. It was just ridiculous. So pretty impressive. I want to know, everybody in the chat, who is your favorite hockey team? This is a hockey show now that JL's not here today. So we're going full Ice Hogs. Looks like Tommy likes the Rangers. What about you, Al? I want to know Albert, Joey, Jay. Who you guys like?
Jay's a huge Hurricanes fan. I know that. And then Trenton in here saying he's a Canucks fan.
Ooh,
I got one of the better logos. If we're just talking logos in the NHL, I'm a big fan. Like their colors too.
I love that kid, Elias Pettersson. They call him the alien. That kid's nasty. The other day, the funniest thing, they show him watching a tablet on the sideline, like like a minute or two before that. Because the guy JT Miller played just about the worst defense you could play, and they watch Elias Pettersson watching the tablet, and you just watch him like slowly put it on his side and get up and just walk into the locker room. Just disgusted at what he had just seen, dude. Yeah, Dustin said F the Maple Leafs. That's right. That's correct. Joey with the Lightning. Good pick, man. The Lightning are a fun team. For a long time, I sat here as a Bruins fan and said I wish I was a Lightning fan, because the Lightning for the last few years they play fun hockey, fast hockey, breakaways, all that. And the Bruins for a long time under like Claude Julien, like just muddling the puck, just gross hockey. But yeah,
every year during the Stanley Cup playoffs, I get very invested and I say next year I'm going to follow hockey, and then I don't. And then I don't do it. So maybe this is the year, Coop. Maybe this is the year we get it done. And Craig said, I like the Bakersfield Condors. Minor league hockey, if that's what that is, hits different. We used to go to Greenville Swamp Rabbits games in college on dollar beer night at a Swamp Rabbits game. Those games were a mess, man. It was, I swear the players were celebrating dollar beer night too.
What beer you get for $1? What beers they do?
It was probably like Busch Light or something like that.
Hell
or PBR,
yeah,
Rolling Rock.
Dude,
whichever can they hit first.
I just picture like a fight breaking out in the game, and then like the whole stands are just fighting.
Yeah, the stands are already fighting the entire time.
The fight starts in the stands and trickles its way down the ice. I did mention the ice. I said the word Ice Hogs. There is a team, the Rockford Ice Hogs. So there's already Ice Hogs out there.
We gotta start following the Rockford Ice Hogs. And Albert said you need a hockey team in San Antonio. There was one, and then during the pandemic, it moved to Vegas. A minor league hockey team. It was a feeder team for Vegas, and they moved it to Vegas. So it's gone. Yeah, it makes sense.
That's
Can't be too mad about it.
We still have the Providence Bruins. I wish they had a ridiculous name instead of just being the P Bruins, but still fun.
Dustin said our minor league team does dollar beer nights and they do Miller Lite, and then the local stuff, which is not cheap. Place is packed with college kids. Yeah, that's that was the vibe at the Swamp Rabbits games. They would do it at the Greenville Drive games as well, but it hits different when you're in a cold room with a much more violent sport. Like there's just something more primal about having it at a hockey game.
Kill them, and they're like, there's legit fist fighting and like guy, like Brad Marchand like puts his fingers in like people's mouths. It's like such a different environment, the hockey.
Jason, my dad won a year of free spaghetti from Fazoli's at a Cape Fear Fire Ants game. And old minor league. What a weird sentence.
That's a brand new sentence, dude. Yeah, no. For a year of free spaghetti from Fazoli's. That's so good, dude.
That sounds like something Michael Scott would say. I don't know why. That just sounds like something he would like have on his resume. My dad once won a year of free spaghetti from Fazoli's at a Cape Fear Fire Ants game.
It sounds like something that in like National Lampoon's Vacation he would get as a bonus instead of cash, right? Like he wanted the Jelly in the Month Club. I got you a year of free spaghetti from Fazoli's.
Oh my God. Coop, I thought about you yesterday whenever we watched Matilda, because actually I watched Matilda. My girlfriend watched part 1 of 4 of Matilda.
Exactly.
She only saw the first, I don't know, 25 minutes of that movie and then went out. And the whole time I'm like sitting there like, oh yeah, no, I guess I'm watching this by myself.
Oh, you powered through and watched it without
I finished it. Usually I pause it, but yesterday I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to sit here and finish watching this movie.
Yeah, we watched part 2 of Top Gun Maverick yesterday. And I don't mean because it's the second movie. I mean, it's because it's the second time we watched it because she fell asleep. But that movie's good. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen the original Top Gun, Simon?
I haven't seen the original Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick.
That's what I figured. But you should watch those. They're phenomenal. And yeah,
that's what I keep seeing all like the best movies of the years list over and over. And every single like TikToker on movie TikTok's like, as surprised I am that a sequel of a movie 30 years ago, as surprised I am that I'm saying I like Top Gun. And they're all like, it's awesome. It's so good. So I'm gonna go check it out.
I'm always skeptical going in, dude. I'm always every Tom Cruise movie, I'm skeptical because it's like, I
guess when he's not on the big screen, he's freaking insane.
Right. And then the movie starts like, and Mission Impossible starts. It's like, din, 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 and I'm sold. Like I'm done. I'm in. Like Tom Cruise movies, can't beat it. So I can forget the Scientology for now. I can forget the Scientology for an hour and 20 minutes at a time.
For the length of a feature-length film. Better Boss, and you're saying Top Gun Maverick rocks, was an experience in the theater.
So good. I wish I saw it in the theaters, man, because like it was intense in my living room, dude. Me and my dog, while my wife was asleep, we were having a good time.
And Trenton wants to know, have you seen Dogma? Classic. Have you
so
seen
good,
Dogma?
Trent. Yeah. That's a Kevin Smith movie. The guy who made like Clerks and all that whole series of the Clerks movies. He also made a bunch of funny movies, but Dogma is great with Ben Affleck, isn't it? I think Matt Damon's also in it. Super funny.
I like the Clerks movies, so I might have to check Dogma out. And then Jay said, Simon, have you seen Babe and Babe Pig in the City? Yes, I have seen Babe and Babe Pig in the City.
Great films.
If there's a movie where animals speak, I've probably seen it. I watch most speaking animal movies.
Got to.
Yeah, what am I? Not American? We watch all movies that have speaking animals in them. It's the American way. Coop, I think it's time for us to impart some knowledge on each other and on everybody listening here. Some things that maybe we've learned in a segment that we call the Moreau You Know. Do you have one for us today, or do you want me to kick us off?
I can kick us off, man. And I wanted to talk to you about a record within sports, and that is the ski cliff jump record. Right. So people think of ski jump records where you go off a ramp and kind of go through the air and then you land. Well, there's another record. There's another record where you basically just jump off a cliff, and if you don't die, then you get the record. So there's a bunch of these skiers, and obviously it has to be recorded in some way and kind of measured and proven. So for years, there were these guys that would go out and they would jump off, like 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet. They were just kind of doing it for fun. And then at a certain point, like they kind of established that it was a legit thing. This guy broke through to like 80 feet, 100 feet. Then eventually a guy named James Pierre went out and scouted up in the mountains, found all these spots. He jumped off a 255-foot cliff, right? And found the perfect spot, scouted it for a long time, jumped on purpose all the way down, went 10 feet down into the snow. They dug him out, and that was the world record. 255 feet, which is almost a football field. That's how far this guy jumped off a cliff, right? How wild is that?
Wait, so they're not skiing when they hit the bottom. They're just hitting the bottom. And the goal is to live.
Just live, right? So yeah, 255 feet. This guy jumped almost a football field. Now, the thing is, that is not the current record.
Someone beat it. Wait, can I ask a question? Is are the skis necessary in this? Because it doesn't seem like they're skiing. Do the skis help keep them alive, or what's going on with the skis?
You have to have the skis. You have to.
Are they skiing off the edge, or are they just jumping off the edge?
They're skiing off the edge.
Okay.
Well, with certain ones, because I watched a big video on them. With certain ones, you have to jump because like some of these guys plan it out where they have to like clear rocks and stuff. So sometimes you have to jump. Sometimes you're just skiing off. This guy Jamie Pierre lived. He survived that, and then unfortunately, a few years back was killed by an avalanche. But jumped 255 feet and lived. But here's the crazy part, Tom. That's not the record. Somebody beat that record. And the guy who beat that record is the guy named Fred Syverson, I think it is. Syversen. Might be Severson. But here's the crazy part about his record. He did it by accident. This guy, Fred
Syverson. So he fell off a cliff and then said, I set the record.
He was recording a ski video where he was doing jumps off different cliffs and stuff. And they had a helicopter out there watching him just like skiing around, doing all these different jumps. And he forgot where he was. And he jumped off the wrong cliff. And he jumped off a 352-foot cliff while the cameras were rolling. And everyone was probably like, well, Fred just died. And he managed to live. He managed to survive. And that is the new record by over 100 feet, something that no one will probably ever beat.
How much did he live? Like, did he fully live, or like, are his legs broken?
I think he was fine, dude. I think he was fine.
Like, did he like get up? Like, or did they have to like helicopter lift him out of the forest after he fell from 350 feet?
I think from what I understand, like he just jumped. It was a perfect moment, the perfect time, landed in the perfect way. And he was just like, he was okay, dude. Like he was all right. So yeah, I mean, like, so that's the record. Did it by accident. And the funny part is that because this is like a legitimate thing that people like take very seriously. When I was like kind of researching and looking at it, there were a couple quotes that came up from other people that were like, one dude who is like big into it. Like, I guess he held the record at some point when it was like 200 feet or whatever. He was like, that doesn't count. He goes, Fred can have the record when he goes up there and he jumps off that cliff on purpose. But until he jumps off the cliff, all he did was make a mistake. That's not a record. I'm like, bro, that's the record. He's got it on video. That's a record. I don't care if he meant to do it or not.
I understand the argument on the other side, but he lived. He met all the requirements. Nowhere in the requirements was it written must be on purpose, must purposefully jump off cliff. He landed it. He had the skis on. He went off the edge and he fell 350 plus feet. And you're going to try to take that away from him. Yeah. Like, that's a trophy celebrating, dude, you're alive.
Yeah. Now, are you ready for the very best part of the story?
I was born ready.
Because the best part of the story isn't the guy accidentally fell off a cliff. The best part is that when it happened, so the cameraman was recording for a good part of it, pretty much all of it, until the very end, because he thought he was going to die. So he stopped recording, right? So he pulled the camera away. He was like, he was recording going off the cliff, and they have that part recorded so it counts. He stopped recording. Apparently, when they went and got him, the guy told Fred that he stopped recording at the end, and Fred kicked the guy's ass. He just punched him right in the face. It was like they literally dug this guy out of the snow, like deep in the snow, and the first thing he did was kick the guy's ass for not recording what probably would have been his death.
Oh my God.
Right.
Guys, joining us right now, just in time to talk about the ski jump, cliff jump world record, is Joey Wright, another member of the Front Yard fam. What's up, Joey?
Not a whole lot of here. We're talking hockey this morning.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Little puck talk.
Yeah.
We're talking hockey. We're talking skiing. We're talking winter sports.
Nice. Yeah. Best playoffs in sports. I don't think that's a hot take at all.
Electric, dude. Electric. I don't know why it does. It just gets so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your squad?
Lightning. Yeah.
That's right. We
in Florida. It was the Florida Panthers for a while. And then I got out of it. And then I think it was like 2003. Hopped on the bandwagon with the Lightning, and I've been there since. Was it 2003 that they went to the Stanley Cup and won?
Yes. No, I
remember there was like a week and a half of like crazy house parties where we were watching Lightning games going insane. So yeah, and that was around 2003 because I had long hair then. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lightning are awesome, dude.
Mm-hmm. 2002. Okay. Yeah.
Stamkos, dude. One of their guys having a crazy good season this year. That kind of going under the radar. The other guy there. I forget the name. I gotta look it up. It's it escapes me. Or did he get?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know any of the players' names at this point because I've been consuming football.
Kucherov is the guy.
Bowls full of football
And
Legos.
Legos and football, baby. Let's go. Let go.
Coop, I like your story. I brought a little something to share here for the Moreau You Know as well. And I wanted to talk about an incident that took place with the Ohio State football team playing against the Ohio University football team in 2010. And for those of you that are not aware, I'm sure a lot of you already know about this, but it is the infamous 2010 mascot fight between Brutus Buckeye and Rufus of the Ohio University Bobcats. Have you guys seen this video, seen this footage of the mascot fight in 2010?
Oh,
so if you watch the video, I'm just going to set the stage. You watch the video of this. Brutus is leading the team out onto the field with the flag. And all of a sudden you see this Bobcat sprinting from the other side of the field and just runs out there and fully tackles Brutus, but he doesn't quite get him on the first attempt. Like goes out there to try to tackle him, but Brutus is able to shake the tackle, breaks that tackle, gets free. And then he comes up, runs from behind and absolutely nails him, takes Brutus down to the ground. And then you look into it. And apparently this has been this student's plan for like over a year. He had wanted to take down Brutus. Like this was premeditated, became the mascot. One of the sole reasons was to take down Brutus Buckeye. Whenever they talk to the guy who was Brutus, he's sitting there like as the details have come out, he talks about imagining the other mascot's dorm room as having like the Charlie Day lines all over it. like that he's like scheming this out. The best part of this story is the guy, whenever he did it, was actually no longer a student at OU, at Ohio University. He had decided to drop out that semester and like thought he had given up his dreams of tackling Brutus. Like that was a dream that he had, thought he was never going to get to do it. And then the cheerleading coach he had tried out previously called him, was unaware that he wasn't enrolled at the university anymore, and asked him if he wanted to be the mascot still. And he said, yes, I would love to be the mascot. And then he's on the bus on the way to Columbus and gets in there. And apparently the guy who is the mascot for Brutus says before the game, the mascots share a locker room, and he usually likes to go in, play gracious host and like say hello. But whenever he went in there, the guy who's Rufus had already been in, changed, been out, and was like, huh, that's weird. Like, why isn't he in here? And then boom, guy who's not a student, has been playing in it for 2 years, comes out and just tackles him on the field.
The old crouching tiger, hidden bobcat move.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I actually just pulled it up, dude. And Brutus does a good job of dusting it off, and
He
not
does.
like But what a loser move. His head falls off, which is like that's rule number 1 of a mascot. Like if your head falls off, you're dead, right? Like that, you can't allow that to happen.
Mascots and luchadors in Mexico. Once you lose your mask, you're out. You're done.
You're out,
That's
dude.
it. No more.
Wasn't the Ravens mascot that tore his ACL still didn't take his mask off? Yeah, what a legend.
Yeah.
Legendary move.
Yeah.
Absolutely legendary. Poe would have won that fight. If you put Brutus, Rufus, and Poe in a room, Poe's coming out on top.
What of all the mascots, which one do you think wins like a fight in not what the like represents the team, but the actual mascot, the person being the mascot?
I think that the Clemson Tiger, just hear me out. I will never argue in favor of that mascot except for in death battles, because that mascot is terrifying. It is a weird tiger bug hybrid. Like, look at the eyes on that tiger. It is not a normal tiger. They took like a praying mantis and a tiger and smushed them together and pushed it out onto the football field.
Rocky for the Denver Nuggets, I think he could like win the Royal Rumble. Like he could go 60 minutes. Like he's got stamina, he's got strength. I might go Rocky. Is his name Rocky? That seems like it should be with the Nuggets. Yeah.
So that's a good. I'm actually, my mind immediately went to a basketball mascot too. I think this would be a good one. Rocky's actually a cool mascot, cool looking mascot. But I'm taking. I'm looking at a picture of Rocky in a leather jacket on a motorcycle on the court.
He slaps. He'll steal your girlfriend.
Yeah. Rocky doesn't play around. But dude, give me the Suns, the gorilla for the Suns. I've seen Go do some crazy stuff, man. Like that gorilla puts on a show, dude. So yeah, give me the gorilla.
Do you remember the NBA Inside Stuff, like All-Star Weekend? They had the mascot dump competition. We need to bring that back.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was tight, dude. Mascots, they got some moves. Dude, Lucky, the leprechaun, he would definitely get beat up in any sort of mascot fight because he's just like he doesn't wear a suit. He's just a dude in like a top hat. But that dude can do some gymnastics. Let me tell you. That guy brings the heat.
In Orlando, we've got the Magic, and we have Stuff, which is just a knockoff of the Philadelphia Fanatic, but let's not talk about that. But he will go and stand on the railing, like in the upper deck, and just get up and stand with his big old shoes. And I'm so terrified every time he does it that he'll fall. But I've seen him do it like a dozen times, and he never falls.
Have you seen the Bills blow up mascot they have? The one with the inflatable suit?
No.
Not the Bills. Sorry, the Bulls.
Bulls.
Yes. And you haven't seen him, Simon?
No, I have seen him.
Oh, yeah. And he eats the cheerleaders and stuff.
So mascots living the dream.
Yeah.
And Trenton said mascot Royal Rumble. Yeah, maybe we got to do a mascot battle royale bracket where we throw some of the toughest mascots in sports together and have them face off against each other.
I think it's time.
And Dustin also said Hulu had a show Behind the Mask, 2 seasons behind different mascots' lives. But that is interesting. Isn't there a movie made by the same people who made the dog show movie called Mascots, where it's like a mockumentary? I'm pretty sure there's a Mascots movie out there as well.
Oh
yeah,
it's by the people that made
Best in Show.
Best in Show.
Best in
is so
Show.
Good. Best in Show is an amazing movie.
Every year, I forget Best in Show exists. Then Thanksgiving happens. I watch the actual dog show. And then what it makes me think immediately is, I got to watch Best in Show. And then within a week after Thanksgiving, every year, I will watch Best in Show.
Rest in peace, Fred Willard just steals that movie when he comes in at the end as the announcer.
Steals it, dude.
Just a legendary performance.
Also, Craig says, give me the Toronto Raptor. He eats people too.
Yeah.
He does.
Craig on brand with the dinosaur too. Love it. That's
a Jennifer Coolidge film.
Oh my God. I love Jennifer Coolidge.
With the Persian eye. Yeah.
She's great, dude.
She's phenomenal. Joey, is there anything you want to teach us? I know we're putting you on the spot here. If you have nothing you want to teach us.
I was really trying to think of something random, and I really have nothing, even though my mind is full of random things.
You'll think of something later in the shower.
I'll think of something later. I've got a bunch of movie trivia, but everybody knows all that crap. So,
who do you guys got in the college football playoffs national championship tonight? So bringing up Ohio State, they did lose in the last round. They're not playing tonight, as did their rival Michigan. But we got Georgia and TCU facing off tonight. Georgia, the favorite, TCU, the underdog coming in, a little bit of the underdog story facing off against Georgia here. Most people didn't even give them a chance against Michigan. Coop, you think Georgia goes back-to-back, or maybe these underdogs come in and take it home?
I don't know, man. I'm going to be rooting for TCU. I like rooting for the underdog, but Georgia's probably going to win. They're probably going to win.
13.5-point favorites. You think they got it, Joey?
I think Georgia will win. I don't know about that spread, but yeah, I mean, who's not going to be rooting for TCU tonight other than Georgia fans?
That's what I'm saying. They're going to have the public on their side. They're going to have the betting public on their side because, it's hard to, unless you're a Georgia fan, it's hard to root for a blowout. You know what I mean? Like,
is it being played at SoFi?
I don't know.
I can't remember where this game's being played.
Super Bowl's in Glendale, I know.
I do not remember where
it is. It is at SoFi.
Is he? Okay, I thought I'd heard LA, and I figured, well, probably SoFi.
The SoFi came up the other day. I was looking at a list of the most expensive buildings in the world, and SoFi Stadium happens to be within the top 10 or so, which I thought was crazy. When you consider some of the other ones are literally like Mecca at the Great Mosque of Mecca, or like nuclear power plant C. And you know
real
what I mean?
estate
Like,
in LA.
Right. Like there's like some of these skyscrapers, and then there's SoFi Stadium. So crazy. SoFi Stadium cost almost $6 billion.
Really? And they couldn't even afford walls. That's amazing.
No walls, dude.
Yeah, Walls would have bumped it. Walls would have bumped it to 12 billion. It doubles the price.
Glorified airplane hangar is all it is.
So on this list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. SoFi Stadium is number 11 on the list. It costs $6 billion. How much do you think the Great Mosque of Mecca cost? That's number 1.
$27 billion.
More.
$42 billion.
Way more. Double. More than double.
$105 billion.
$100 billion, they say.
Holy cow.
100 billion doesn't even sound real. It sounds made up, dude. That sounds like a
sounds like something like Dr. Evil says.
I was just gonna say.
$100 billion.
Yeah. So there you go, dude.
Wow.
Also, we got your average Joe in here saying I officially defeated J Wall. Congratulations on the victory. And J Wall, you'll get him next year, bud.
No. Eat it, J-Wall.
I hope you had fun at the Eagles-Giants game, J-Wall.
J-Wall's been spamming the crap out of me to try to get a player for me in trade, so I'm really glad that he lost this
Who's he
match.
trying to get from you?
He's trying to get Kenneth Walker, and he's offering me
eat it, J-Wall.
Garbage. Not garbage, but just like 3 31-year-old running backs for him. But I'm taking over an orphan, so.
I don't know if you can get Doug Martin and CJ Anderson for him.
Yeah, no kidding. It's about what he's offering me.
Here's what we do. Here's what we do. And at the Expo next year, if we'll do a field goal kicking contest, whoever can kick the longest field goal gets Kenneth Walker.
Are you going to talk to me this year?
I was talking. We had a number of chats. When you come around, as long as you don't come around while I'm eating breakfast, what it was like. I feel like
I slammed a microphone in Coop's face while he's eating breakfast. And he's like, Joey, not now.
I was so hungover. So that clip didn't make it, huh?
That'll be in the blooper reel.
No, it did. It made it in the second one, didn't it?
It did make it in the second one. That's
it did
right.
make it.
Not now, Joey.
Yeah, not now, Joey.
That is funny though. But I was dead serious too. Like I was like, I was just.
You're just mad because I beat you in axes on Thursday night.
You did beat me in axes.
I'm
that one's legit.
You beat your axe.
I got beat in axes, and I also fouled out in pop shot basketball because I fouled Britt Flynn because she was beating me.
What is pop shot basketball?
We were at Dave and Buster's.
Oh, is that just like the basketball in
the
back? Yeah. I got you.
Britt was winning things left and right that weekend. Though.
I got ball. I got ball first on that one.
I am not very good at that game, but I like to think I'm good at that game. Like every time I step up, I'm like, yeah, I can beat that high score. Without a doubt, I can take that high score down. And then I'll make like 11 baskets.
My mom is like sneaky good at pop shot basketball. Like we go to like Chuck E. Cheese and like she blows the roof off the Chuck E. Cheese. It's like this like 50-year-old lady just sinking hoops.
Dude,
she's over 50 now.
It's crazy to see somebody do that. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's just amazing at one thing.
Yeah.
Like my wife is unbelievable at that game where you knock the clowns down with the balls. But she picks them up and throws them with both hands like this. And I'm
That's the
just
move.
I can't do it, dude. I can't do it because
I can't either. Your wife's
I'm
amazing.
too right hand dominant. She just goes
Yeah.
bang, 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 bang. It's insanity.
I usually run that game with 2 people. I'll do like, okay, you want top row or bottom rows? And that's how we do it. And we clean up that jackpot bonus.
Exactly. You know how to do it, dude.
Mhm.
You got to get the lit up one though. Yeah. So, but Simon, I know what you're saying. In your mind, like there's a few games like that, like bowling, right? In bowling, in my mind, every time it's a strike. Every time I'm rolling a 300. When I'm pulling up to the bowling alley, I'm like, I'm probably gonna roll. I'm in my head. I'm thinking, I'm like, what am I gonna do if I'm like down the stretch and I've hit like 9 strikes in a row? Like, am I gonna choke? Right? Like that's the way I think about bowling when I go to bowling. But then when I get there, I pick up the ball. I'm like, this is a strike. It's a strike every time. Never is.
What's your high?
Here's what I don't understand about brains.
Breaking 100 maybe.
Bowling makes me like fall down a rabbit hole of thoughts about the human brain every single time I go bowling. Like where I just get stuck in these loops of like, what the hell? Like, how do human brains even work? Because I will tell my brain to do the same exact thing, the same exact motion, the same exact everything. And sometimes the ball goes right down the middle. And sometimes with the same exact message from my brain to my arm, it'll go straight in the gutter. Like I'll give my arm the same instructions from my brain. And then for some reason, it just takes a left turn at the end, throws it straight in the gutter. I don't understand how brains work.
Right. Exactly. It's the same thing with darts. Like you in your mind, it's a bullseye or it hits every time. I just wish just once they would connect on the same page, this thing and this thing.
Every single time. I think one of my crowning achievements in bar games was one time I hit a dart that I had thrown in the back of it and stuck it into another dart. They both missed the board. Neither one of them was worth any points, but the dart did stick in the back of the other dart. Precision, not accuracy.
So for that one moment, you were basically Robin Hood.
I was Robin Hood for a moment in time in the roof of a bar in downtown Clemson, South Carolina.
I like to think that someone at the bar just turned and with his beer and he was like, he split the arrow in twain.
And everyone's like, shouted huzzah, and flashed their beers into the air. There was a raucous of cheers and a splash of beer.
Right? And then Green Sleeves played. Green Sleeves was all my joy. Instead, everyone was like, do we have more darts? This idiot just ruined the darts.
Yeah, we need more darts over here. Sir, don't do that again. We're going to have to ask you to leave.
We're going to have to ask you to shut the hell up.
We're going to have to ask you to shut up. Guys,
we're going to have to ask you. Can we have more darts? We're going to have to ask you to shut up.
Guys, coming up, we've got some unpopular opinions. And then if you have fantasy football questions for us, throw them in the chat. We are more than happy to answer them. It's dynasty season now, or maybe some playoff pools that you're in, or our NFL playoff contest. Maybe you've got some strategy questions about that. We'd be more than happy to answer anything and everything you throw our way. And we're going to talk some of these playoff matchups a little bit later today as well. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing, chop to short. Ramirez has it, throws. Bartlett picks the perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right on one, second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the inbounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up and in. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson to carry, looking for running room on the right side, has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season, the 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Yager turns around. Over to Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena.
And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux.
field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored, but the Bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP Dodge. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the bank, and you're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding, slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downing, swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Better Sports Network.
Oi, hey, oi, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We're about to get into a segment we call Unpopular Opinions, where we are going to give you some of our unpopular takes that we think generally aren't going to be agreed with. It may be about fantasy football, about football in general, or about anything else in particular. I can kick us off unless someone else wants to jump in with one of theirs. I think this one might be truly unpopular, and I want to preface it by saying, do not hear what I'm not saying in this. Take my words at face value. I like watching football better, but I think soccer is a better viewing experience as a sport. I think it is much more pleasurable to sit down and watch a soccer game than it is to sit down and watch a football game. The big difference being the 45 minutes of uninterrupted action, 15-minute break, 45 more minutes of uninterrupted action instead of a play, a timeout. The last 2 minutes are going to take 30 minutes. It's going to be running out the clock. It's going to be commercials. I'm going to see the same freaking chicken commercial from Burger King 1,000 times before the game's over. In soccer, we're just getting commercial breaks at halftime and then again at the end of the game. I think soccer is a better viewing experience than football.
I feel like I'm being set up.
I'm calling the fucking cops. This man right here, apprehend him.
See, I'm next to you right now, so when you pointed at me, I'm like, what did I do to get apprehended?
Over the top.
Well, see, here's the thing, Coop. Simon makes some really good points, but I still would rather watch an NFL game, even though I love nothing more than Liverpool Football Club. Like, it is like my heart and soul. It's very convenient. I'll say that. European footy is much more convenient than American football.
And Jail said, what a dumbass take. And Nick said, damn, Simon, you let us all down with that take. The soccer is just so boring.
Hey, you hit
that's rude.
You hit
that's
the nail on the head. I will. Okay. So sorry for swearing. And
I almost said the F word. So.
I did say the F word. But anyway, I will give you this. I will give you one thing here, Simon. That is that the soccer goal is the most electric moment in sports, right? And I think a big part of that is because how rare it is, but also because at times it seemingly comes out of nowhere, and because oftentimes, I feel like more than half the time, it's spectacular. You know what I mean? There's very few even when they kind of just like trickle in or whatever, it's still cool. You know what I mean? But like, man, bicycle kicks and headers and laser beams from, a million miles away. Penalty shots are lame. I'll say that. But like the
penalty saves are the opposite of lame. Like that is freaking electric. Like,
if it goes in,
you're like, oh, but if the goalie guesses right, dives over, like It's electric.
Especially when it's a goalie like the World Cup goalie who's like kind of like an asshole. Like I like when the goalies are like pounding their chest. I like when they just like punch the ball and they get up and they like suck it. You know what I mean?
There's
like
so much hubris going on in the world. And it's beautiful.
I love it, dude. I love it. I want more of that, dude. I want more of that trash talk.
Simon, I'm gonna disagree with you because I could not watch like Forest City and Tottenham. I couldn't watch that. I'd have no vested interest in it just to watch a soccer match. But I could watch the Rams play the Jets on a Thursday night, and I'm glued to my TV. But as far as from an in-bar viewing experience, there is nothing better than supporting your club in a pub at 10 a.m. Like truly nothing better. Singing the songs with your people there in the pub, like it's incredible. It's a great feeling. Nothing matches it. But if I'm just gonna sit down and watch a game, I'm watching the football game.
No, I like
You're
watching
dumb.
football more. I agree with you guys there, but I do think just the uninterrupted 45 minutes separates it from a viewing
convenience is
experience.
nice.
Like it's so nice, man. It's so nice to sit down and just have to watch an entire half and then it's done.
College basketball has that formula. They just won't embrace it.
It's right there.
Like,
it's right there.
They could do it. They could absolutely do it, but no, they're not going to do it.
Money. Well, that one was pretty unpopular. I don't think a single person in the chat even gave a single inkling of kind of agreeing with it.
And with the best part of it too is that like everybody jumped in earlier and was like, "Yeah, hockey's awesome," and then you mentioned soccer, and everyone was like, "Kill him, dude!" They got the pitchforks out, dude. Unsubscribing from the channel. Yeah. This is a perfect time to ask people to subscribe. Like, yeah.
We're good with hockey,
soccer,
we're good with basketball, but do not bring up soccer.
If you brought that up during the World Cup, you might have got some people, but now that the World Cup is over, yeah, there you go. JL, hockey sucks too. That's why we picked today to do the hockey show, JL. Is JL watching the show? JL, aren't you supposed to be sitting there being forced to watch Gravity in some or some whatever's on TV in a?
He keeps telling me he has to do something about some guy named Jerry, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
And Trenton said Salt Bay most hated.
Yeah, Salt Bay, dude.
100%.
Yeah, what's the movie today? Salt Bay. What a douche.
Also, Dustin said you complain about how the refs spot the ball in the NFL, yet in soccer they just make up how much time they make up at the end of the game. Dustin, I will say, I've thought about this 100%. Because in football, the reason that stands out to me is because everything else is so precise. You know what I mean? Everything else in football is measured down to the millimeter, down to the last second. They fix the clock. Like it is a game of precision. And then that one thing is imprecise. In soccer, on throw-ins, they aren't measuring exactly where the person should throw from. On kicks, they aren't going out and measuring 10 yards. They'll put a little foam line on the field and say, about here, make sure you're behind this line. It's a game about flow, not about precision. So they prioritize flow over precision. That's why it weirds me out in the NFL, because it's a game about precision, or in one moment, they're okay with something imprecise.
Yeah. And the added time, they do keep track of it. That's what the referees are doing. So when people are out there holding their knee, pretending they're hurt, they're calculating that time to add on at the end.
We see
because nobody wants that.
They're like, we see you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Movie yet. I'm playing Pokemon. Get a couple badges for us, JL. Do it for the squad. Do it for the boys.
Bring them home. Be the greatest like nobody at any time has ever been. Right? Is that the same?
You nailed it, Coop. Does anyone else here have an unpopular opinion to save me from having to continue to defend that soccer is a better viewing experience?
I have a bunch, but Joe, you want to go? You want me to share one of mine?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a classic that I brought up on one of the game shows one time, and I got roasted for. I love chocolate, especially dark chocolate, a lot. That might be an unpopular opinion. I prefer dark chocolate over milk chocolate, but that's not what I'm here for. I like peanut butter. I think peanut butter is great. I like peanut butter and jelly sandwich, peanut butter banana sandwich, one of my favorites. But peanut butter and chocolate do not belong together. It's a disgusting candy. Reese's cups should be thrown off the end of the earth because we are.
Is it Reese's cups in particular, or is it peanut butter and chocolate combo? Period.
Peanut butter and chocolate combo. The Reese's Pieces. I mean, Reese's has really cornered that chocolate peanut butter market. But even like Godiva, they try to get fancy with it, and it still tastes like balls. So
like a Buckeye. We were just talking about Brutus Buckeye getting tackled. You're not eating a Buckeye either.
No,
dude. I don't know, man. I feel like you're making a mistake.
It's unpopular.
And Tommy said, "Slay him and the soccer fan."
Murder them. Yeah, the thing is, they are burn the witches. They're burn through the witches and dig through the ditches. What song is that?
That's my favorite ABBA song that you just sang.
ABBA?
I thought it was
ABBA?
the 18s.
It's ABBA. Slam in the bag of my Dracula. Yeah, my unpopular opinion is that I like that song. But no, the thing is, Joey, I know where you're coming from because there are times peanut butter takes over completely, right? So there are times where I don't want it in there, where I don't opt for it, but I think you're missing the whole world. I think where you have to look at it as is not a combination of different things that you're having at the same time, but chocolate peanut butter being its own thing. That's what you need to look at. Like you need to go out and get a good fudge that's like a chocolate peanut butter swirl where you can't split
I'm
them.
open to that. I've never had that before.
Right.
That,
So that
sounds like something interesting.
That's where you sit there and you say, okay, do I get fudge? Do I get chocolate peanut butter fudge? Where it's not like you're taking peanut butter and just putting it on the fudge. Like it's within it and it's its own flavor. And if you think about Reese's in that context of you're not at no point are you just eating the chocolate part and then just eating the peanut butter part. It's about peanut butter chocolate. Then if you think of it as one flavor, then it kind of changes it for you. I think that might help open you up to the possibility. But I do get where you're coming from to a certain degree.
I'm a very open-minded person. So the next time I'm at a fudgery, which I go to at least once a year, I will look for the peanut butter fudge because maybe it is just like the bite of chocolate. Then I hit this like disgusting area of peanut butter that I normally like, but I've just had chocolate. It's like my taste buds are being tricked. I don't like it.
Why is this in here? Yeah. Get like a
or if
nice
you find
peanut
yourself
butter
in Texas,
like a blend. Yeah.
Head to Buc-ee's and get some peanut butter fudge. Buc-ee's
right
has everything. You can get a pillow, you can get some jerky, you can get some
Should
candy.
we talk about how terrible Buc-ee's is next?
You can get some pickled vegetables, and then you can get some peanut butter fudge as well, Joey.
Can we talk about Buc-ee's is like that's a like gas station brand, right?
It's a gas station.
I've heard
only by the loosest definition of the word.
I've heard great things. So in fact, I know of many different places around, Joey, we've talked about this before. There's one down where you are. It's a supermarket, but it's amazing. What's that one called? They make great sandwiches.
Publix.
Wawa?
Publix, dude.
Oh, Publix. Yeah.
Yes, but I've also heard Wawa is amazing, and there's like crazy Wawa followers.
I will fight for Wawa over Buc-ee's any day.
Oh, I'm with you. I will fight for Wawa over Buc-ee's as well.
So we have one up here that I would love for you guys to try. And my running joke it's not even really a joke because I do love this place. It's called Cumberland Farms. That's what we have.
Okay,
up here.
we had those.
You had Cumbies? The ones
I used to buy my baseball cards at Cumberland Farms.
Oh yeah, at Cumbies, dude. Yeah. So the Cumberland Farms up here has like you have to get a newer one because the older ones are really just still gas stations, but the newer ones, man, these things are amazing, bro. I'll order like a breakfast sandwich on my phone, and then I'll show up there and it'll be hot, like freshly made, grab a coffee, breakfast sandwich. You know what I mean? Like, place is tight, dude. Place is tight. They're crushing over there.
Why does their logo look like a health insurance company though?
Because dude, they're just keeping it low key.
Is it still the dots? Is it still like the weird collection of dots?
It looks a little bit too medical for me. I'm gonna need a little bit less white in that logo, and then I'll consider going. Could you let them know?
It is a little sterile, I think is the word for that logo. But I mean, I don't know. I used to play baseball with the kid whose family owned it. They sold the company, and they have billions of dollars. But they
with Mr. Farms himself.
It was.
I assume last name was Farms.
It was, yeah. It was actually.
We got
Hasiotis.
We got Jolly Rancher in here. Good morning, Mom. Saying I love the word fudgery, and then Better Boss down here saying Wawa soft pretzels. So good. But and then Dustin letting us know Wawa is the Native American word for the Canadian goose. That's why it's their logo. That makes sense. See, Wawa's got the logo down. Wawa's logo is inviting.
Dustin brought his Moreau You Know today. And Jolly Rancher, you like the word fudgery. Maybe you weren't on earlier today when we talked about fudge flamethrowers, but it's been a pretty fudge heavy show today.
You know, maybe this is an unpopular opinion that I know Jolly Rancher's not going to like. I don't like fudge. I think fudge is just entirely overrated. The idea of fudge is fantastic. Every time I hear fudge, it elicits a positive reaction of like candy and fudge and sugar and deliciousness. And then I take one bite and I'm so thirsty and so sick. It is so rich that like I never want a second bite of fudge. I always take that first bite. Then I'm like, man, why did I spend $40 on fudge?
You don't drink milk, so you don't get it, dude. You need something like that. You like.
And do you get like the fudge from like the actual like where they're making it right there at the place? Have you ever got? Because that fudge is like awesome.
Yeah, at
Okay.
the fudge
All
at
right.
the fudgery.
Damn.
I come from and Dustin says I'm not a big fan of fudge either. And Trenton in here with me too. Same, too sweet. I lost him with the soccer, but I got him with the fudge take.
You brought him back. You brought him back around. I will say
we got Victor in here. Oh, what's up, Coop?
Oh, what did Victor say? I want to hear what Victor said first.
Victor said, "Good morning, boys. Remember from what I said Friday about Lovey? It happened." Yeah, Victor calling a shot on Friday about Lovey Smith.
You called it, bro. I'll give it. Yeah. I mean, there are certain foods like that. To me, fudge is the opposite. Where I say that to myself, like, oh, I don't really want fudge. And then when I try it, I remember like, oh yeah, this is great. Whereas there is a food where every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be so good. I want this. And then I get it and it's not that good. And this might offend JL and people in his region, but crab cakes are not that good.
Oh, you're out of your damn mind.
Crab cakes are something where you think about, like, I think about, I think it's because I'm thinking about like those like fried clams, like the big like clam, like fried clam balls. I'm thinking about something like that. And then when I get the actual crab cake, I'm like, this isn't really that. This is nothing special.
It sounds like a problem with your expectations, not with the crab
I think
cake
it is.
itself.
Yeah.
But if they were better, then they would exceed my expectations. But they're just
my uncle. Go ahead. Sorry, Hook.
No. You tell me about your uncle's crab cakes.
Yeah, my uncle, every Christmas Eve, he overnights us. He usually gets here on the 23rd or 24th, crab cakes from Maryland. So, I mean, like, we're getting, like, top-tier crab cakes. I feel like it's S&E is the name of the place. That's, like, what the lid says. But, I mean, it's, like, 90% crab, 10% cake. It's, like, the perfect ratio. And we bake them, and
I don't know if I want that much crab. I think I'd want, like, 90% cake and only 10% crab.
Oh, but it doesn't fall apart. You would think with that much. I mean, maybe it's not 90-10, but like usually go get a crab cake at like Red Lobster and you're like, oh man, this is like a lot of breading. It's like the perfect ratio. And you still feel like, man, I'm getting a lot of crab here.
Well, I need somebody to show me to a high-end crab cake. Cause I mean, I feel like I've had them at weddings and stuff. And just like, I'm like, man, it's not what I wanted. I wanted something totally different. It's like, but you're right. That might be on me where I'm like, I order a ham sandwich and I'm like, why isn't this a hamburger?
Yeah, I think the crab cake slander, I'm going to be honest. They caught me by surprise there at the beginning because you just seem like a guy who would love a crab cake.
Yeah. Do I look like a crab cake guy?
They're delicious. And it seems like we would be at a restaurant and you would order like, yeah, I'll take the crab cakes. I'll take the crab cakes. Like I can see sitting down at a nice seafood restaurant with you, Coop, and that's what you're ordering.
Dude, there are very few things that I don't like. The thing is, there's not really a lot of foods that I won't eat. Like I'll eat. You put a crab cakes in front of me, I'll eat them all. I'm kind of a garbage disposal. So like all of like even the foods I don't like. It's not that I don't love them. It's just that I like them. I like them differently. Like I'll eat shrimp scampi. I'll eat shrimp scampi, but I prefer that you didn't put shrimp in my spaghetti. Like that. Those are my food takes. I don't have food takes where I'm like I'm not gonna eat that.
And Dustin said, for someone I assume loves lobster rolls, I assumed Coop would love crab cakes.
Lobster rolls are good. The lobster rolls are good, but they're also not like, again, the best part of the lobster roll is usually the bun,
Also, Tommy New said, give me 1 week with you guys. I will straighten you all out. We'll get Coop to get a good crab cake, Simon to watch The Godfather, and Joey to drink a peanut butter milkshake. Peanut butter chocolate milkshake.
One time I took a sip of my wife's like Planet smoothie shake and it was the chocolate peanut butter thing. And I thought I was going to die.
Now, to be fair, that peanut butter they use in there is chalky as hell. It makes the whole smoothie like coat your throat in a layer of like rock climbing chalk dust.
I coughed and it looked like LeBron James throwing chalk in the air.
100%.
You're exactly right. Yeah.
That's what those smoothies do.
Yeah. It was awful.
I got banned from a Smoothie King one time.
Oh, tell us.
How that happened.
It's way less exciting, but there is a Smoothie King that I wasn't allowed into and was asked to leave whenever I tried to go to it. There was a gym in Augusta that I joined that assured me when I signed up, no problem, you can cancel whenever you have to move back to Clemson. Absolutely no issue. That'll be no problem. You just have to show that you moved. Well, none of my proof of movement was good enough for them. They said, show us a paid tuition bill. I showed it to them. They said, oh, well, this is on payment plans. It needs to be a fully paid tuition bill. Okay, well, that doesn't work. Show me a lease with your name on it. okay, oh, well, your parents co-signed on this. It has to be a solo signed lease. We can't accept this as proof that you live somewhere else. Shows a utility bill with your name on it. Oh, well, the utility bills are in my roommate's name, but I can show you like proof of address on my bank account. Wouldn't take any of it. So
bring us to your house and cook us dinner.
So I canceled my debit card and it just stopped being able to auto charge my account. And I went in to go to that Smoothie King that was attached to that gym. And someone from the gym staff walked through the door on the other side and told me I was no longer allowed on the gym premises and was asked to leave the Smoothie King before I even got my smoothie. Can you believe that?
Did they own the Smoothie King?
It was inside the gym, but there was like an external facing door. So you could like get to the Smoothie King from in the gym on one side or from the outside on the other.
Wow, the Smoothie King came over himself and put his finger on your chest and said, "Not up in here."
Sent me down.
How'd you feel, dude? Were you rattled?
I walked out of there feeling like a little badass. Know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm banned from a Smoothie King. No big deal or anything.
Coop, you ever been kicked out anywhere?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
All the time, dude. I've been kicked out of places. I've been detained within places, So I mean,
I got detained.
What do you want to hear about? Epcot. Ooh, what happened at Epcot?
Yeah, classic drink around the world story, and then I tried to climb the temple in Mexico.
Yeah, so you made it to Mexico.
Escorted to the front of the gate of I was held in a little back room inside the temple, and then they walked me to the gate of Epcot and told me I was never allowed to come to Epcot again.
Oh.
Flash forward like 10 years, and I buy, what are the annual passes at Disney? And Disney, they're so smart. I'm like totally convinced that. Okay, when I buy these annual passes, my picture is going to pop up. No, they
you were good.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Oh, they didn't remember.
I felt like a rebel every time I went into Mexico and rode that little ride with Donald Duck and the three. What are the three Caballeros, whatever? Yeah.
And every time you see the temple, you're just going by like, oh, I know I could have made it to the top.
I
could have made it to the top.
People have made it to the top. I did not complete that legend. Germany is where I went. It went south really quick.
They got you, dude. What were you?
I was fine up until Germany.
What were you drinking in Germany?
Just beer? It was a huge beer.
Yeah,
like
that'll get you.
The Hofsbrau. I'm talking about the Hofsbrau.
You got the Steins going.
Yeah, it was a little heavy.
I love the drinking around the world TikToks where they just show each person right before their drink at each country, and you can always see the moment they lost. No one ever wins. No one ever wins that game, but you can it's usually around drink 4 that you see, and then something clicks in their eyes, and all of a sudden those last 3 countries are a little bit different in that video.
The sake bombs in Japan. That's usually where people start slipping up.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it was the Germany. And then I took my little trip, walked past China to it used to be the Malmstrom. Now it's the Frozen ride. But I never rode the Malmstrom sober. I no longer drink anymore, but it was probably for good reason. But I never rode the Malmstrom ride. It's like got gnomes and elves that pop up out of the ground, and I would always laugh my ass off on this ride because I was always hammered. But then I got to Mexico after riding the Malmstrom, and I'm like, I said to my friend, like, I'm gonna climb the temple, and he goes, "You should do that."
Those are the best friends.
Yeah,
the ones that know you're gonna get kicked out but do it anyways.
Yeah,
you said you should have been detained or kicked out.
It'd be cool if it was like real Mexico, where you just give that guy like $20 US, and he's like, "All right, you're good."
Head on out.
Yeah. What's that?
Coop, you said you've been detained and kicked out of a place before?
Just various different places. I mean, like, for instance, like I told you how we used to always go into, I told you the Waffle House, the Waffle Hut story where we would just go to the local Xfinity Center, they call it now. It used to be called Great Woods, this like music venue, and we would tip a trash can and jump over the back, right? We jump over the back and go in there. But you do that so many times, and people figure it out, and they're kind of waiting there for you sometimes. So I can give you one example where one time I actually bought tickets to a show. We go to the show and we go inside. My buddy, whose name will remain unknown, though it's Madison Brittingham King. He's like, we're like, "You're gonna come to the show?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I don't have tickets though." I'm I'm like, all right. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Like you can't jump over the back without help. Right. So we're going through the line. I get through, I'm in. Right. And this kid decides he's just going to run through the gate. Dude. He runs through, right? They grab his sweatshirt. He had already taken his one sleeve out of the sweatshirt. So when they grabbed the sweatshirt, he did the spin move. You can keep the sweatshirt move. So and then we're talking, this kid is like this big black kid with dreads. So like, and this was like, we was like an OAR concert. So he was one of,
nice.
Yeah. It was one of Elva Revolution. So he was maybe one of 5 black people at the show. So, you know what I mean? Like, not exactly a dude. They didn't even chase him. They're like, yeah, we'll find that guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, legit, sure enough, a few songs into the show, somebody comes tapping on the shoulders, bing, bang, boom. And, they're like, you're out of here. And I was like, well, they got you, Madison. And then they were like, no, all you guys are out of here. I was like, me, dude. I was like, what did I do? And they were like, you were in line with this guy before, right? And I was like, well, I mean, I had a ticket, So I'm like, okay, whatever. We're getting kicked out. Nope. They put us in the goddamn drunk tank, which I had already been in when I was a kid. But this time I was an adult. So we had to sit there listening to this band I don't even like, or they're kind of good. They're kind of good. But like I'm sitting there, I'm like, are you happy, Mad Dog? Right. And the funniest part is that like he's sitting there and he's like, oh man, it's cold. He's like, it's pretty cold out. I was like, he's like asking them for his sweatshirt back. He was like, where? They're like, where is it? Like, you guys took it. They were like, sorry, bro. Like, you're not getting that.
That's funny. Can I have my sweatshirt back?
I've seen OAR. I've seen OAR like 3 times. They're like the band that you want to see before the band you're going to see.
100%.
Yeah.
Like they're from where we live, so
okay,
they are big enough to sell out the show themselves. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, great show, but
they're from Massachusetts. Yeah.
There's some bands that are just openers. Like Hawthorne Heights is the artist I've seen the second most times in concert, but not once did I go to a Hawthorne Heights concert ever. Mm-hmm. They were just always there. If you went to pop,
OAR's they're from Maryland. I thought they were from Massachusetts. Sorry for interrupting.
Maryland, Massachusetts, same thing, right? Both MA states, starts with MA on the East Coast. What's the difference? You and JL, your neighbors.
I go to OAR and we get there and they're like, this is actually not OAR, it's Dispatch. And I'm like, all right, whatever.
And you said this is Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan.
Whatever, dude. I'm getting kicked out anyway. Let's play a song.
Montana. I'm trying to think of more MA states, but that's all I got.
Montana. Michigan. There's a ton of them, dude. Missouri, Mississippi. Half of them start with M.
Have you guys seen the stand-up bit about the guy talking about the people who named states? Apparently, there's a documentary about naming the states, and this guy goes on about like, surely we won't run into any issues. You got to look it up. I'm not going to sit here and butcher retelling of stand-up because that's literally the worst when people do it.
Glad you caught yourself.
Look up the bit about the guy who does the naming of states. Everybody watch it. And I know the fantasy football season is done, but we've got an NFL contest coming up soon. And right now, Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra. They're also sponsoring our NFL playoff competition. So make sure you guys are entering that. If you're unfamiliar with Luca, they are redefining friendly competition. You can go over there. Let's say Joey and I were playing some darts at the bar. We wanted to throw a bet down on it. Joe, you and I could open up Lucra, throw that down in the bet or on the games happening that night. Download the Lucra app right now to create a contest and bet against your friends in as little as 15 seconds. Winning is fun. Beating your friends is even better over there with Lucra. And guys, go join our NFL playoff contest as well. Compete against the 3 of us, the rest of the BSN community and hosts as well. It'll be a lot of fun now that the fantasy season is over. And you could win $500 cash and a full-sized autographed NFL helmet. Coming up, we are going to talk about this past weekend's games. We're going to play some Fast Guy Quick Time and then break down some of the upcoming playoff matchups as well. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Green Screens Media back at it again with your BSN timeout. And today we're handing out our mid-season awards in college basketball. With me, as always, the captain of our ship at Green Screens Media, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, let's start with the mid-season Wooden Award for the most outstanding player in the game.
Yeah, I got to talk about the big man from the Purdue Boilermakers, Zach Edey. the current number one team in the country. This guy's just an absolute animal. His ability to stay on the floor this year for over 30 minutes a game has raised the ceiling of this team to national championship aspirations. He's averaging over 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. He's an absolute load in the paint and one of the most dominant forces in college basketball.
Yeah, Edie doing just about everything for these Boilermakers. I want to go over to Coach of the Year. Going to go chalk here, technically rock chalk. Bill Self for the Kansas Jayhawks. He has this team all the way up to number 3 in the country on a 13-1 record, including 2-0 in a very tough Big 12 conference. Probably what's most impressive about this run this year is in the context of the players that he lost in the offseason. There's no more McCormick. There's no more Abaji, Martin, Braun. But yet again, Bill Self has reloaded, and he's getting everyone's best shot. I think he's got these Jayhawks primed for a title defense.
Yeah, I love this new look Kansas team. I think they can make some real noise come March. I want to talk about Defensive Player of the Year, Cliff Amoria from the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. This team's third in defensive efficiency, and he's a big reason why. Averaging nearly 10 rebounds and 2 blocks per game. These stats, while they're impressive, they don't do this young man justice. He's disrupting the game on every defensive possession and one of the most fun players on that side of the ball.
Man, Rutgers is a nightmare on the defensive side. Going to go over to most improved player. For me, it's Chris Murray of Iowa. We all saw his brother Keegan explode onto the scene last year. Played well enough to get himself drafted to the NBA, but that left a void for these Iowa Hawkeyes, and one that Chris Murray has stepped up to fill in nicely. This is a player that was averaging less than 10.5 last season. Those numbers have more than doubled this year, 20.4 points, 9.8 rebounds per game. Chris Murray looks like a legit star on the rise.
Yeah, I love what Chris Murray has done now that he's out of the shadow of his brother. But I want to talk about a potential Cinderella story come March. Maybe an upset, the glass slipper here, the Florida Atlantic Owls. 13-1, 3-0 in Conference USA so far. Head coach Dusty May's done a fantastic job. This team's headlined by guards John L. Davis and Elijah Martin. They've rattled off 12 straight wins, including victories over Florida and UAB. Don't sleep on these Owls come March. They may make some noise.
I think this glass slipper will fit for FAU, and that will do it for your BSN timeout. Make sure you stay locked here on the Better Sports Network and check out Green Screens Media on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube so you don't miss a minute of our college basketball coverage.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning.
What's up, Joey?
Here on Better Sports Network.
Joey, what's up, dude?
Not much. What's going on, guys? I still have one more bite.
Sometimes I wish the cameras would cut in the middle of break, would just cut back into us, or like one day without us knowing, it's just showing us during the breaks because I can see you guys, but they cannot. There's some gold that happens.
You got caught in the classic. Dude, that's JL's move. That's JL's move 100%, dude. JL will be sitting there eating pretzels, racing the clock to see if he can finish eating before the end of the break.
He stopped racing the clock. He started like JL's at the point in his where he's like, I got a pretzel in my mouth. I got a pretzel in my mouth.
Yeah. The other day he did that where he would he finished his cake and then just started popping pretzels in his mouth. Like, I'm done. I'm done here. I'm just going to start asking follow-up questions. Somebody starts.
I think drinking is pretty well accepted on most shows, but nobody wants you hammering down a ribeye on screen.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I mean, if you eat a ribeye, that's a power move. Especially if you don't acknowledge it, you're just sitting here just just don't even mention that you're what are you doing, dude?
It was two Thanksgivings ago on FYF. Somebody made a really bad pumpkin pie take, and I went to my fridge and I ate a whole pumpkin pie on camera during the rest of the show. Was it you? Yeah, because you're an idiot.
Yep,
yeah.
That is true.
What's your
freshman year of high school? My Spanish teacher emailed my mother saying that the full meals I was eating in class were distracting to the rest of the students. She said, I have a snack policy where I'm okay. I understand it's a long day, but your son is eating an entire meal in my classroom during fourth period, which was true. Wrestling season had ended and I was eating 3 peanut butter sandwiches, 2 nutty bars, but she had a snack policy. You could have talked to me first before you brought it to my mom. But I guess it's the ribeye on stream rule. I pushed. She said you can have a snack, and I said, what about 4 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and 3 nutty bars?
Everyone's getting their homework out, and Simon's like, all right.
I think on our birthdays for the shows, we should be able to eat whatever we want on camera because it's our birthday.
I think that's a great idea, dude.
I want to eat Outback Texas cheese fries with my fingers on camera.
Okay.
They're going to be greasy, and I'm just going to shove them into my mouth.
I'm gonna eat magic mushrooms.
Yeah, that's a good one.
7 a.m. 7 a.m. show.
Can you believe how much Coop was sweating on the show today?
Begin the show, I'm just doing my normal thing, and then at 8 o'clock, I'm just like,
hour 2 of the show becomes a lot more interesting.
Starts licking his camera.
I think whatever I want, I'm gonna eat a tomato.
There we go. Well, guys, it is time for our next game.
Hold on,
And
Joey
Coop-
didn't get to say what he was gonna eat.
Joey, what are you going to eat? On your birthday?
I don't know.
You brought it up.
Yeah, I would probably just eat some sushi.
It was your
My favorite
idea.
food.
You didn't even have something ready to go.
No, man. I just want you guys to be happy.
Oh, I love
That's
you,
so
dude.
sweet.
I
That's so
picked-
sweet.
I don't know if I'd be happy eating magic mushrooms.
And I picked cheese fries, of all things. I had cheese fries this weekend. I went on a little solo restaurant date to Chili's with myself this weekend. Sometimes it's nice to just like sit down alone in a restaurant, throw your headphones in. There was like the pregame stuff on the TV, so I'm looking at that. I'm listening to my music. I had a margarita and some cheese fries and some queso. Like, just sat there for like an hour hanging out at the Chili's.
Did you put out once you got home with yourself?
No,
It sounds like a nice date.
Treat.
I did not.
Treat yourself.
It's a third date. That was only date number 1 of the year. Yeah.
Gave yourself
Treating yourself is a very
Give yourself a
important
little
thing.
smooch on the hands when you got home.
Mhm.
Exactly. I kissed myself goodbye, and then I went inside.
I had a lovely time. But let's not do this again.
Yeah, thank you so much. But
Ghosted yourself.
yeah, we're not going to be having this one happen again, guys. It is time for our next game, and Coop, it's your favorite game that we are playing here. It's Fast Guy Quick Time. We're going to play some Fast Guy Quick Time now. Someone else is going to have to do mine for me, but Coop, do you want to start or do you want Joey to start?
Joey.
Okay, well, Coop, you will be going first in today's game of Fast Guy Quick Time. You ready?
Oh, me?
You said Coop was going first, but then Coop
Oh.
said I'm going first. Who's
No,
going
I
first?
asked Coop who wanted to go first, but he's going first regardless.
Okay.
So Coop is up first. And for those of you who have not joined us for this before, how this is going to work is I've got a series of questions. I'm going to ask Coop. Coop, there's one rule and one rule only, and that is don't think. So you just need to answer as quickly as possible. You ready?
No.
Question number 1 coming your way. 3, 2, 1. Favorite sleeping position?
Face down.
Dumbest thing you can imagine?
Joey, right.
Worst excuse for crying?
Watching Top Gun Maverick.
Thing you wish could be delivered?
Magic mushrooms.
Non-wrestling reason to wear a singlet?
90s party.
Preferred method of torture?
Tickle.
Actors you want to be your parents?
I would pick Dak Shepard and
Quick.
Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
Invention you wish you could uninvent?
Twitter.
Creepiest thing you've ever done?
Walk my dog at night.
Nickname you want?
Ace.
Most spontaneous thing you've done?
Cartwheel in the snow.
Something you initially hated but now love?
Brussels sprouts.
Something you're embarrassed to own?
This pen.
Relationship deal breaker?
Stuff in your teeth.
Tattoo you want Simon to have?
Pirate.
A pirate. Nice job, Coop.
What was that last
Hulk
question?
Hogan-
I couldn't miss. What was the last question?
You just said pirate and didn't know what the question was. It was tattoo you want Simon to have.
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah, I missed the first word, so I didn't know what it was.
I thought it was hat you want Simon to have. So
I thought you said
pirate hat.
I thought you said-
I was like, that's a good hat.
I thought you said accent. I thought you said accent. Pirate accent. So yeah, it worked for everything.
We're
I
gonna
like
get a hat,
this
an accent,
celebrity-
and a tattoo.
I like the celebrity parent question. That was a
Dak
good one.
Shepard and Hulk Hogan as your parents. What a duo! You're getting a
2023.
varied upbringing right there.
Yeah, that'd be good, dude. That'd be good. A little soft and strong.
Well, soft and strong. Soft from Hulk Hogan, of course. Strong from Dak Shepard. Joey, you're up. Are you ready?
Oh man, I'm gonna say something bad. Let's go.
You have one of the classic. I think the last time you played this game, we got the best answer of all time in Fast Guy Quick Time.
Which was what?
It was the celebrity you would let punch you just so they could touch you, and your answer was Michael Jackson.
that is unstoppable.
Charles in here said magic mushrooms are already working. Yeah, Coop. Little did you know it's his birthday today.
The problem is, dude, the I get so hung up on what I've already said that I can't think. Like the moment I said that I sleep lying face down, I couldn't think about anything else. I couldn't think about anything else. Just face down, like.
I love this game, but I'm just gonna.
This is the worst game. I love this game when I'm not playing it.
Well, here we go, Joey.
Yeah. Let's go.
3, 2, 1. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Bills.
Worst place to put your kids during hide and seek?
Closet.
Movie you refuse to let make you cry?
Babe Pig in the City.
Sneakiest thing you've ever done?
Watch Babe Pig in the City.
Describe your fantasy season in one word.
Oh.
Unwritten rule about front yard fantasy.
You have to poop your pants once a year.
Body part you wish you could detach.
My left hand.
Sport you think you could beat Simon in.
Curling.
What's your love language?
Affection.
Secret society you'd like to start.
People that love Gaston.
Your weirdest holiday tradition.
I watch Eyes Wide Shut every Christmas Eve.
TV series most like your life. Quick.
The Leftovers.
Terrible style you love.
My own farts.
Worst bet you've ever made.
That I could jump higher than Josh Almeida.
Activity you do to look busy.
Stream with my friends.
There we go. You just do it to look busy. No, honey, I'm really busy over here.
That was
your life is like the Leftovers, bro.
I've taken out a lot of dogs in the street with a rifle. No, I don't know why I said you know why I said the Leftovers? Here's why. I can't reveal why, but you've seen it all, Coop.
Yeah, the people wearing white saying nothing, smoking cigarettes. That's what your life is like.
In the very last episode, there's a scene in a little town courtyard.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I'm trying to be unspoiler about this. And the song that is played and two characters look at each other lovingly was my wedding song. So I think that's why I subconsciously said that.
I'll have to check that song. And then we'll do time out because that wasn't even the weirdest part. Do you actually watch Eyes Wide Shut every Christmas Eve?
Every Christmas Eve. I got it for Christmas Eve the year after it came out as a gift, like on DVD on Christmas Eve. And I'm like, I'll just watch Eyes Wide Shut. And for some reason, I just started watching it because it is kind of, there's some Christmassy stuff in there. And then it just kind of started happening. But then when my wife saw me watching it and she's like, this is weird. You need to stop this. I'm like, well, I'm never going to not do this ever again. So
I've never seen that one. That's Stanley Kubrick, right?
Yeah. It's one of those ones that like every time you watch it, you come up with more stuff that's going on. And it just grows year by year. So
after I finish Airbud Pup Star later today, I'll check out Eyes Wide Shut, but I got to finish Pup Star first.
I want to just be clear that I'm not recommending anyone watch Eyes Wide Shut. I'm just saying that I do because I have very eccentric movie tastes. But
here's the first phrase from the Wikipedia. Eyes Wide Shut is a 1999 erotic mystery psychological drama. Erotic does that sum it up pretty well?
Yeah, there is a lot of mystery.
Is it erotic?
It is very erotic.
Now, is it erotic mystery or is the eroticness separate from
man, I'll tell you what. It's more
I'll tell you what.
It's more of a mystery than it's erotic. Although my wife does find the most perfect moments to walk through the room as I'm watching it. But it's like since I've had kids, I have to like shame myself into the bedroom and like lock the door and watch it, which probably makes it sound even worse. But I wrap my presents while I'm watching it. So
also, Scott Fish in here said, imagine being able to start Airbud Pup Stars and then turning it off to do a show. I'm missing that show, man. Locked in. Yeah. Honestly, my dedication to this show transcends even the pull of the cinematic masterpiece that is Airbud Pup Stars. I can even resist the magnetism of a movie of that caliber to make it over here for this show. And even when I woke up extra early to watch Air Bud Pup Stars, it got me out of bed bright and early in the morning. Also, Charles said, so we know of someone who poops in their pants on Christmas Eve. Joe, you poop in your pants on Christmas Eve?
Am I?
Got it.
Maybe.
Got to while watching the movie.
Yeah, I'm probably not. I'm very focused during my eyes wide shut yearly experience.
Maybe we should do a Airbud series this offseason where we pick a week and each night of the week we'll watch one and then we'll discuss on the show for the full 3 hours.
We watch an Airbud movie every day of the week. That sounds like a fantasy football punishment is like every day. You have to watch at least one Airbud movie.
Dude, you could in the modern age of streaming, you could have that as a punishment. Like you need to stream yourself watching Airbud every day.
I lost at one league one time and I had to watch 2 seasons of Sister Sister.
How was that?
Hey, well, Sister Sister
horrible.
A pretty good show.
Yeah, but like I had to do it in 2 days. It was rough.
Oh my god!
But no, I've been bugging for JL and Simon to do some movie content, and if our movie content that we do is just Airbud movies, I'm gonna watch them and be fine. I'm not gonna do anything.
Guys, I think it's only fair that I do Fast Guy Quick Time as well. We got some questions prepared. Keith helped us out. Who's gonna read them for me? Is it gonna be Joey or Coop who runs me through those? Also, JL, you're saying I love Sister Sister. I'm with JL. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I was a Sister Sister fan growing up.
I thought there was only one, and it was like split screen. I didn't know there was actually 2 of them.
That it was Tia and Tamara Lowry?
Yeah, I thought there was just one T.
You thought they were pulling a little Parent Trap action?
Yeah. I'll tell you, the trap was making that bet.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Simon, you asked a question just now, but I was on my other screen looking at Sister Sister. So what did you ask?
Who's going to read my Fast Guy Quick Time? Who's going to Fast Guy Quick Time me?
Let me do it. You guys never let me read anything, and I always have to participate in that in every game. Like, why I have to I have to participate in every single game. So I will read yours, Simon. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Phenomenal. Simon, what is the silliest way you've hurt yourself?
Jumping.
A movie character you want to be?
Garfield.
Where do you randomly run into a celebrity?
The mall.
The best way to make someone laugh?
With your belly button.
Joey, Coop, or you? Who is the lead in an FYF sitcom?
Joey.
What's the name of the sitcom?
Joey's World, and we're just living in it. Oh, hi.
What's your football conspiracy theory?
That Jameis Winston did not steal crab legs from Publix. He was gifted them, and then the university told him to say that he stole them to cover up for impermissible benefits, which would have been much more punishable from an NCAA standpoint.
What's the weirdest thing you can do in a yoga class?
Fart loudly in downward facing dog.
What are procrastinating to do? What are you procrastinating to do?
Write thank you notes for Christmas gifts and calling my grandmothers.
What typical high school trope were you?
The Orca Dork.
What food would you take a bath in?
Queso, without a doubt.
What's the craziest face you can make? Make up a word and its meaning.
Flubbergosh. Flubbergosh is what you create after eating flubber. It's what comes out the other end is flubbergosh.
When do you stop being a kid?
Never.
If electricity didn't exist anymore, would you miss most?
My electrical engineering degree.
Yeah, you probably missed that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good job, dude. Whoever wrote these questions, not a great job with the grade. And add a couple words in there.
I do not want to be Garfield. I just want to put that out there. Not even in the slightest. I haven't seen Garfield in ages. I think I'm just was thinking about talking animals, and it's the first thing that came to mind.
That's what I'm saying. The moment you say that was the second question, but you were thinking about that Garfield question for the next.
I was thinking about Garfield the rest of the time.
For the next 13 questions, you're thinking about Garfield. That's what happens to me every time. Dude.
Well, because here's what happens is I think what would I really think for that question? But then the only word that can come to mind is Garfield. I'm like, what would I really Garfield? And it just starts screaming in my head over and over again.
I want to see this Joey sitcom. That's what I want. That's what I want out of this one.
It canceled after like 4 episodes.
No, it gets a solid 2 seasons, a cult following, and then canceled.
Yeah.
Is what it's going to go the route of Better Off Ted. Is what we're going to get with the Joey sitcom.
And then it comes up in every single Reddit thread forever.
Firefly and Better Off Ted.
Firefly and Better Off Ted. Yeah.
Joey's World. We're just living in it. Oh hi.
Yeah. There's another one. They always bring up My Name Is Earl because apparently there was like a certain number of things that were supposed to happen. They never got through the things. So
you never watched My Name Is Earl?
No, I've seen sporadic episodes and I thought it was humorous, but I never watched. Like I wasn't an early adopter.
Watch it. I don't watch it anymore because I feel like the itch that was scratched by My Name Is Earl is much better scratched by Trailer Park Boys. Where like it's the similar itch of like style of show that I'm going to watch, but Trailer Park Boys is just so much better. So I go when I watch that.
I have a fun story about Jason Lee.
Let's hear it.
So I used to volunteer at the Florida Film Festival, and I helped be his driver from the airport. And he smoked an entire pack of cigarettes from the airport for like a 40-minute ride to the film festival.
What a beast!
Super nice guy, but like window down, smoked a full pack of cigarettes.
Ripping cigs. Yeah. Window down or window up?
Window down. He was very courteous to.
There we go.
The guy that was driving him actually allowed me to come with. It was like a cool thing. He's like, "Hey, I'm driving Jason Lee today. You want to come and help?" Like, I'll throw bags in the trunk. Sure.
That's awesome. One time I got picked up by a tow truck driver who ripped cigarettes the entire way, 40-minute drive to the mechanic where my car was being dropped off at like 2 a.m. So I'm just sitting there, get picked up by my dad finally, and I just reek of cigarettes at like 2 o'clock in the morning after getting out of this tow truck driver's truck.
Speaking of Jason Lee, he's in Dogma, which we talked about earlier.
Wow. Look at that. Coming full circle right here.
We did it, folks. Yeah.
Guys, that was fast guy quick time. Coop, I think you were the fastest guy and the quickest time today.
Yeah, with the worst answers. But I'm getting better. The first time I did it, I was just like,
What was that? Yeah, I thought it was exactly.
Nothing's replacing your Chewbacca voice, Simon. Stop trying to get sound clips.
I know. Don't worry. I'm fully aware of what I created there and that it's going to continue to be used against me, but
it's
beautiful. It is what it is. Art comes from the most unexpected places, and that's where we are. Jalen here saying, shout out Keith. Yeah, shout out Keith. What's up?
Shout out
and
Keith,
Tommy
dude.
said, I will write you a theme song. Joey, what's the first line of the Joey's World? We're just living in it. Oh, hi. Theme song.
It's probably oh hi. Like it's like ba 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 ba, and then oh hi, and then it goes into the song. Yeah. Boy, I haven't done it in a while. Oh,
yeah,
it's still there.
Good.
Okay,
you got the goosebumps. I got
Yeah.
goosebumps, dude.
Yeah.
It's back.
The offseason, oh hi. Guys, now that the fantasy football season is over, it is time for the NFL Playoff Challenge. Fantasy football is continuing this postseason. Join our NFL Playoff Challenge, sponsored by our friends over at Lucra. You can compete against us, the other hosts, Corey, Nando. They're going to be in there. Coop, some more of your Fantasy Alarm boys are going to be in there. You can compete against the Fantasy Alarm community, the BSN hosts, and the rest of this community here as well. Click the link in our app right now or at bettersports.com to register for free and set your lineup. The top score is going to win $500 cash, plus an autographed full-size NFL helmet of the winner's choice. You got some say in which helmet you're bringing home. And an entry into the 2023 Real-Time Sports Fantasy Championship and a chance to win $500,000. And guys, I'm coming for you in this contest. I'm getting it. I have not been the strongest in playoff contests in the past. I think I let my heart get a little too happy, and the teams I think are going to make it far and the players that I pick accordingly, but I'm doing it again this year. My heart's going to be right this year. I just know it. I'm feeling it.
It's like bowling.
It's like bowling. I'm walking up there and I know this is going to be a strike.
Oh, it's going to be a strike. And never.
Also, Will in here saying he's champion again. Congrats, Will. Congrats on the championship.
Let's go, boy.
It's championship season, baby. I love hearing everybody come in and let us know about the championships they won. If you won a title, come in and let us know. Let us know you won. We'll celebrate you here on the show.
Yeah. Woo, let's go, Will.
Shades on, haters out. Guys, coming up, we are going to break down this past weekend's games and talk a little bit about the upcoming wild card games this weekend as well. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Live with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Obviously, you've got a couple identities here, right? And so, Lisa Ann's here. Let's talk sports. Let's talk fantasy. What about my team? What do you think about my team? Like, that's dope, man. Like that brand you have built here is huge. And over in Switzerland, you're a big deal in Switzerland. Of course you are.
Very in Europe, all over Europe. But when I was at the Jersey show like 2 or 3 weekends ago, my security was shocked because every other guy legit handed me his phone and said, "Yo, Lise, can you check my lineup? Can you look on the waiver wire? I got bye weeks coming up." You're right. It's really neat how my worlds have become just this synergy between, me being me and then me reaching out to all of these different people and having this common ground that now it's like we're kind of bros when we talk about sports, right? We're just friends. We're all sharing the same heartbreak or pain. Sports is the international language.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Probably every team knows that inking starting pitchers to big deals and big money agreements is bad business. But that's the business they're in. What else are they going to do? That's what it costs to play the game. And all these pitchers realize it. I'd like to sit here and say, well, you should develop your own pitching. You should never pay these guys $25 million a year. But Ray, I don't think teams can do that. It's like the pitchers have a lot of power despite their weaknesses and despite their fragility. They still have so much control over the purse strings of these teams and these GMs and these owners. They don't care, Ray. They're seeing the same numbers we are. They know Jake DeGrom. If they sign him, you pray for 130 innings. Every team knows that, Ray. They may say something different, but they know what's going on. And Ray, it won't stop them. I mean, what do you think DeGrom gets in free agency this year?
I think he'll get 4 or 5 years, and he'll get 35 a year each, right? Paying $20 million for Drew Smyly is stupid. Paying $200 million for DeGrom is idiotic, in my opinion. Jacob DeGrom has had 14 injuries the last 2 years. Like, every part of his body, it's just, and he's phenomenal. But you can't be locked in. If DeGrom makes 25 starts, 26 starts, if he throws 150 innings, you could win your division. You could win the World Series. I get it. But if he does the other thing, which is what he's done the last couple of years, your team is so hamstrung, unless you're one of 2 or 3 teams, you can't spend your way out of that.
However you're invested in sports, from betting to fantasy, collectibles, and more, join our community on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Week 18 is in the books, which means we are getting ready for Wild Card Weekend. The playoffs are set. We're going to talk a little bit about these games, their playoff implications, and the players that played in them. Before we get into that, though, Charles in here letting us know we won 2 leagues and finished 3rd in 2. Thanks for the help, guys. Yeah. Shout out, Charles.
Let's go.
Congrats, my friend.
Champ is here.
Absolutely killed it. And you don't have to thank us. We're doing what we love to do. You won the leagues over there. You made the decisions that got you there. Maybe we provided some input, but you're the one who won it.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
You're the one that won.
That was pretty good, Joey.
It's your team, and a lot of people you bounce stuff off us, but you're really just looking for second opinions. Like, you've set your lineup. If you have a start sit, you've narrowed it down, but at the end of the day, people always come to me and they're like, all the credits due to you, blah, blah. It's like, no. You did it, man. Because even if we helped you, you went out of your way to find the resources to help you. Mm-hmm. You did the research. You come to us. We are here as a tool to help you guys win and try to entertain you every once in a while. So if you won your league, don't give credit to anybody except you, because you won.
Yeehaw.
Oh yeah. It's like giving credit to, it's like giving when you get an A in a class, it's like giving credit to the textbook. You know what I mean? Like, you did the work. Like, you went out, found the resources, did the whole thing. So good job.
Killed it. And Tommy said, I will take all the credit. You are a tool.
That's right, dude. Yeah. That's right. Tommy's got it right. Tommy got it all figured out. Dude.
I swallowed that joke.
Tommy did not win a single league, so let's not get obviously Tommy.
I don't know. He probably drafted a lot of Josh Jacobs, so maybe he didn't win any leagues. Actually, he just made it to the playoffs and then lost in the playoffs. Is probably what happened there. Guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of these games this past weekend and kick us off with a game that was essentially a play-in game for the playoffs. The Titans and Jaguars playing on Saturday night. The Jags ended up pulling out the victory with 10 points in the fourth quarter, 20-16 over the Tennessee Titans, led by quarterback Joshua Dobbs. But the Jaguars pulled it out. Not the best Trevor Lawrence performance. He looked fine. It was a good game, but it wasn't like the Trevor Lawrence we've seen over the past couple of weeks. But the defense got it done for Jacksonville, and that was promising to see as their last game. We know they can get it done offensively. It was promising to see their defense come out and win a game like this as they head into the playoffs.
What was encouraging for me about it is early in the season, Jacksonville was losing these types of games, and now they found a way to win these types of games. And just a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how the Jaguars are kind of clicking like the Bengals. Let's find that person that said that put that in our head, but their defense is clicking. It's a young team with a great young quarterback. Offense is looking good. I was really riding high with them coming into the playoffs. I'm like, if they make it in, I'm going to put some money on them in Vegas. I'm going to put $20 on them to win the Super Bowl, just win the whole thing. It's a little discouraged by what I saw Saturday, but man, this Jaguars team's exciting. And that's this Jaguars Chargers matchup is my favorite one of the wild card weekend for sure.
They're fun, man. And the thing is, you look at a team like the Texans, an organization like that, organization like the Browns at times, and the way they go about things, which we don't particularly like. Then I look at teams like the Dolphins, the Jaguars, the Lions, where they built the team inside out. They still managed to bring in the right veteran presence, right? Like Marvin Jones, last year he had to do a ton. This year he got to be what they wanted to bring him in to be, which was essentially a player coach, a guy that's been around this league, a trusted presence that can help the younger guys, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Engram, learn some things that he's learned from being around this league, take it to the next step, and then also be there to help out. Like, so now they've hit that spot where, boy, does it look good. So, hey, I'm excited, man. And Trevor Lawrence, he's a stud. He's a stud. And hopefully, he's had the thing is with Trevor Lawrence that I love is that you don't get much negativity. That's the beautiful thing with Trevor Lawrence is that like the quotes when he makes the news, it's him saying, hey, let's use James Robinson over Carlos Hyde, right? Like he went through complete turmoil and there wasn't much Trevor Lawrence saying the wrong things or doing the wrong things. It's all been great things from Trevor Lawrence. Whereas, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, they've made the headlines for all the wrong reasons, right? So you got to love that out of Trevor Lawrence. Not only does he look good, but he's keeping his mind on the right things, right? Was he always like that at Clemson, Simon? Was he that kind of guy?
He's been that kind of player, and it was something that he even got knocked on in the draft process, was the fact that he wasn't an emotional player. Know what I mean? Like, I think they're kind of related. The fact that he would say things like, I'd be fine without football. Like, he's like, it's not everything. And I think that's part of how he plays. Like, he loves this game, and he wants to be the best at it, but he's not sitting here like, he's not tying his self-worth to it. He's not married to the game like a Tom Brady is, and he got hate for that, but I also think it brings like a calmer demeanor and a calmer presence. There's pros and cons to each, right? You get the fire from some of these quarterbacks and you get the stability from some others like Trevor Lawrence.
You worry about that though. Like if you're a GM, like you don't want a Josh Rosen where the guy says like, oh, I don't need football. You definitely, the other thing you don't want is like, look at Andrew Luck, look at Patrick Willis. These guys turned around. And who is the guy that came up behind Patrick Willis? Because he only played for like 2 years or 1 year. And then he decided, I can do other things besides football. Like that's, as a coach, honestly, you don't want that. Maybe you don't want the guy that gets a 50 on the 1 year. Like maybe you want a guy that gets like a 38 and just, loves football and that's it. So I don't know.
I'm excited to see this Jaguars team in the playoffs. So I think they can make some noise. The biggest problem, though, is as fun of a team they are, they got a pretty tough path forward. If they manage to get past the Chargers, it's going to be the Bills or the Chiefs, like likely both if they wanted to make it. Like their path to the Super Bowl is probably Chargers, Chiefs, Bills, right? Like that's the path that they would have to go down. That seems pretty brutal. Or Chargers, Bills, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
I would say not a problem. Yeah.
Well, the thing, here's the other part of it is that like I group these teams into different categories, right? There's some teams that are in the window of like you have to win now or the season is a failure. Like what teams are in that group? The
Bills, Chiefs.
Bills, Chiefs.
Cowboys every single year.
Any team that has Aaron Rodgers, any team that has Tom Brady, right? So like if you don't win the Super Bowl, like forget not making the playoffs. Like when you have Aaron Rodgers, if you don't win the Super Bowl, the clock is ticking, right? So then there's that group. Then there's the group of like the young up and comers that have these guys under contract for multiple years where, hey, you know what? If they don't win, it's not the end of the world. That's where I put the Jaguars. That's where I put the Bengals. Who else would you put in that category? That like they have a solid core and you're not worried about the Dolphins. Dolphins are perfect. Yeah. They Jalen Waddle's on a rookie contract with at least 3. He was a first round pick. So with the 5th year option, 3 more years, right? You have Tyreek Hill tied up forever. You have Tua tied up forever, right? Like they have a bunch of young pieces, Christian Wilkins, all these guys. So like those teams, if they don't win, it's not the end of the world. So I feel like they're in a good spot, even if they don't go the distance here.
I think the Eagles might fall into that, but not. I mean, they're a step above that, but like I think the Eagles are built long term here.
Yeah, they're there, and well, because they drafted Hurts the same year as Tua. They just signed AJ Brown. I mean, they drafted Devonta Smith. Yeah, they're pretty much the same exact. I mean, I didn't really think about how similar they are until you just made that point. But they are very similar. And then you got like the surprising up and coming teams, and then you have the teams that should be doing bridge years or tanking, right?
And then you have the Chargers, and I don't know what category they fall
I don't know
into.
what category they fall in either. Yeah.
Like I'm looking at all these teams, and every single one of them, I'm like putting in a category. I'm like the Chargers, the team that I thought was going to be there, and then I thought wasn't going to be there, and then suddenly now they look like a team that should be there.
I'm putting them in the category. They are, if they're not in the same category as the Chiefs, they have to be close because Austin Eckler is getting up there in age. Keenan Allen's getting up there in age. I know they got some young pieces like Rashawn Slater and Derwin James and all these guys, but they traded for Khalil Mack. I think that's one of the big parts of it is like they traded for Khalil Mack and he's no spring chicken either. So I think they're in the window now. Not that it's like this year and it's done, but like they got to win one. If it's not this year, they got to win one soon. So I think they're in the window. I think they would go in the same group as the Chiefs and those teams. I think the Cowboys probably there too, right? Or
I feel like the Cowboys, the expectation is they should win the Super Bowl every year, and if not, what's going on? But maybe that's just because they're the Cowboys.
Maybe we should put an extra category at the very end where they're just like hanging over the cliff. Like that's where the Packers and the 49ers are. Like they're like, we need to win right now because the wheels are like, we have one wheel off, Yeah,
it's funny because like as a team, the Bills are not that at all. But like I wonder as a fan base and as like a franchise, because they've lost 4 Super Bowls, like are the Bills that like, okay, this might be our best chance coming in? Because I mean, I think the Bills are the favorite. I think easily one of the top 2 teams in the league. And then let's just be frank, like with everything going on there, like that's something that's united that team.
And they did go out and get the hired gun in Von Miller. Like once you see teams bring in that hired gun, that's when it's time. Like when the Patriots brought in like Darrelle Revis and paid him $20 million to play one season. That was a hired gun, got to win right now season. So either way,
it's exciting.
I think what I'm realizing as we're talking through this is that I'm just cheering for the AFC in these playoffs. It's a shame all the AFC teams are playing each other.
And Gino
on the other side. It's Gino plus the AFC that
I'm rooting for. I root for Tom Brady, and I know you're a Bucs fan, Joey. So you're gonna root for him too. So.
I will cheer for greatness as well. Like if he can win an 8th Super Bowl, if he's in there, I'm going to be pulling for him, unless it's against the Jaguars or Bills.
I'm rooting for a Bills Bucs Super Bowl, but like this is going to sound really bad, and maybe I'm just buying it. But I want to see Goodell hand the trophy to DeMar Hamlin. Like that's what I want to see.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's how I want the season.
That would be sick. That would
be sick. As like the honorary team captain because he's on IR. And
though you would settle for a Bucs Super Bowl as well, right?
I mean,
yeah, I understand putting you on the spot like that, but no, that would be a sick end to the season. That would be an absolutely sick way.
It'd be really nice to see. So
yeah, Dustin says, "Bills fan, we've got this year and 2 more years. That's the window." So yeah. Maybe let's talk about this the Bills Patriots game. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, let's hit this Bills Patriots game. And before we do that, we had a question from Tommy saying, "What game are you looking forward to most?" And I think for me, we're talking about the Bills. Of course, that Chargers-Jags game looks fun, but the Dolphins-Bills rematch in round 1 of the playoffs. They split during the regular season. Hopefully, Tua's back, and I'm excited for that one as long as Tua's back and playing in it. What about you guys?
I think that I've always been like a closet Dak Prescott, and Closet Dak Prescott fan, a very open Zeke Elliott fan, and I'm obviously a monster Tom Brady fan. So the Buccaneers Cowboys game for me, when these teams play, it's usually fun. They played the first game of the season. Did they play again first game of the season this year? Or that was the year before last that they played the first game. It was electric. Like when these guys
Rams Bills was the first game of the season, right?
No, not them. Like
their first game of the season.
Their first game.
I want to say that is correct. There's I have a family relationship with the Cowboys, and that family member's not here anymore. And it was the first time that we didn't get to watch that game together. So, and then it's really weird that they're now playing in the playoffs again. So, but that does ring a bell.
They led off this year and last year, and those games. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate both teams. So that one's a fun one for me. I like that one.
Joey, what about you? You got to get.
It's Chargers Jags for me. I am really intrigued if Lamar Jackson returns and that Ravens Bengals matchup, because it'll be different than what we saw last week. But I don't know if Lamar's going to be back and how good he'll be when he gets back. So, if we get full Lamar, I'm really excited for that game. But for me, listen, Chargers Jags, like two of the most exciting young quarterbacks in the league. The Jags defense has been good lately, but they're beatable, and so I think it's going to be. Will it be the most high scoring? I think it'll probably be the most high scoring game of them all.
I'm curious.
I'm not sure what Vegas is saying. But.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm curious what Vegas is saying about it. That game is currently set at a 47-point over/under, and it is the second highest behind only.
Let's guess.
You want to guess? You want to guess?
Dolphins Bills?
It is not Dolphins Bills.
Okay,
it's gonna be whatever team's playing the Vikings. I don't know
It is the Giants Vikings at 47.5.
The Vikings. Those games are always a shootout, right?
Yeah. Like only half a point though, but yeah.
Yeah, half a point more. The Vikings are 3-point favorites in that one. Ooh, the Bills are 10.5-point favorites, which leads me to believe they're thinking Tua is not going to play in that game.
I think it seems to be.
I'm gonna get to bet on these games too because I'm going to Vegas for my first time.
Yeah,
never been before. So,
yeah.
But I'm gonna go down to I think it's at that BetMGM Sportsbook and show my ID because that's what I have to do for the app, and I'm gonna bet on all these games legally.
Are you into like rides and stuff like amusement park rides and stuff, like crazy ones?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Give them to me.
Do the 3 rides on the top of the needle there, bro.
Okay.
Dude,
if I get some time, I'll definitely do that.
There's one that shoots you straight up.
No, won't do that.
There's one that they put you in this thing and it just hangs you over the cliff and then like makes it like the thing's gonna drop and then just stops from the top of the needle. And then there's another one where they put you in this like little seat and there's this claw that goes up this and it starts spinning, and when it goes up, you're literally just looking straight down.
Coop, like, listen, I'm just here for one day. Like, I'm not trying to take your spot on the show. I don't know why you're trying to make me die.
It is
cool, man.
Horrifying, bro.
It sounds horrifying. I don't like heights. Like, I'm if I get on a roller coaster, like, give me the scariest roller coaster. But I close my eyes when we get to the top, and then once I feel the drop, I'll open my eyes. I don't want to see the ground.
Warchungus in the chat, bro. Yeah. Wait, Simon, you got him.
Warchungus said it's called the Stratosphere. Don't do it.
The strat, dude. I thought I was like, yeah, I'll ride whatever roller coaster, bro. The Stratosphere, on 2 of those rides, I was like, this is horrifying. The one that goes straight up is not bad, but the other 2, I was like, bro. Nobody would go on with me, so I went on with some random chick that was just screaming the whole time too, which made it even more horrifying.
Huh.
Yeah. My favorite Vegas experience can't be recreated. It was a unique once-in-a-lifetime experience. I went to the Red Rocks State Park and was wandering around, but we get no phone signal out there. So before we left, we also didn't have a car. We got our Uber's phone number, and he said to just call him from the phone from the visitor center, and he would come pick us up. So we call him, and then he answers very vaguely. He's like, yeah, I'll be there, and then just hangs up immediately. So we walked 20 minutes to the front of this park to wait like an hour to get picked up. And then we're starving at this point, me and my friends. Like, we're going to head back. We're going to have a full night ahead of us. So we ask him, like, what's your favorite restaurant? Like, what's your favorite restaurant in Vegas? Just take us to your favorite restaurant, drop us off. And he pulls into this like shopping center and drops us off at a buffet that was a Chinese / pizza buffet and was the most disgusting restaurant I've ever been to in my entire life. There was like dirt on the pizza. The Chinese food that was sitting there looked like it was rock solid. Like it looked like display plastic food. And this guy, we asked him, take us to your favorite restaurant. He goes, oh, this place is the best, and drops us off at this buffet that's like 30 minutes outside of downtown. So we have to take another $30 Uber after getting like surely food poisoning from the stuff that we ate.
got played.
How much do you think that guy gets paid to just funnel randos in that spot, dude? No question, dude.
And Scott said, guarantee that pizza was still light years better than Emo's pizza in St. Louis. I don't know, man. I don't know. And Jacob and you saying, I've never been to Vegas, but it sounds like you have to do it at this.
You gotta do it, bro. Get up there.
You gotta do it.
Get up there.
I'll tell you what.
Get terrified.
If I do it, I'll make some content out of it.
You have to, bro. Yeah, dude. Dude, promise me this: if you go all the way up there and buy tickets to the ride, when they do the one that goes like that over the edge, sit in the front seat. Do yourself a favor. If you're gonna do it all the way scary.
And I'll scream, "I hate you, Coop." If there's like a video thing, I'll make sure that's on the video.
Please, dude.
Yeah,
that's the whole point. Yeah,
guys, let's talk a little bit about this Bills Patriots game. Coop, the Patriots losing in this one, 23-35, not going to the playoffs. Their playoff hopes were still alive heading into this weekend, but the Dolphins are going to take that last spot in the AFC.
Yeah, you figured I'd probably have a little something to say about this game.
I figured you would have something to say, yeah.
Boys, yeah. So what I will say is this game was the perfect example of how fragile this sport is and how this game is, and why Bill Belichick always talks about all three phases of the game, right? Because you look at this game and both teams were doing things on offense, doing things on defense. In terms of just offense versus defenses, there's a pretty good battle. But the reality is you go back to early November and two huge changes happened to these teams that decided the outcome of this game in reality. One, the Bills went and traded for Nyheim Hines. Two, the Patriots punter, Jake Bailey. People don't realize that Jake Bailey was actually the guy that, besides just being the punter, did the kickoffs. So usually it's the field goal kicker that does the kickoffs. The punter for the Patriots did the kickoffs because he could kick it out the back of the end zone. So he went on IR, and then apparently he hasn't been keeping up with his schedule. So they took him and suspended him because he wasn't doing his workout. So they didn't have him. So going into this game, they didn't have Jake Bailey to kick it out the back of the end zone. And what happens? Nyheim Hines not only runs back two kicks, but just trying to keep it away from Nyheim Hines because they had no one that could kick it out the back. They kick it out of bounds and give them the ball at the 40-yard line. That's how fragile these games are at times. You're missing the one player that could have prevented those plays, right? It's crazy how that happens. And if you go back and look at it, the Patriots, when they beat the Jets, that game was evenly matched on offense and defense. Nobody was doing anything. And the Patriots won because Marcus Jones ran back a kick. We've seen the Chargers have the number one offense and number one defense in the league back in the 2000s and not win the Super Bowl because their special team sucks. So that's why all three phases matter. And Nyheim Hines proved yesterday that, what was it, Zach Moss and a 6th-round pick? What a trade. They won the game. That's what won the game. That was the difference, right?
Yeah, they won it for him. And it just blows my mind. And this might be a completely ignorant football take, but I've never seen it answered. I've seen it asked before. How is it not possible that they can just find somebody who can kick the ball out of the back of the end zone consistently? It seems like there's got to be more than 32 guys in the world that can consistently just boot the ball out the back of the end zone. Accuracy doesn't matter. You should just have two of those guys on your roster at all times. They got no other job. Just boot the ball out of the back of the end zone. That's all you got to do.
It's funny that you bring that up because the number one guy against that is Bill Belichick himself. They asked him about expanding the rosters, and he says he does not want the rosters expanded. And they asked him why, and he said because it creates too many niche positions. Now, all of a sudden, every team has a field goal kicker, and they have an extra point kicker, and they have a really tall guy to catch touchdowns in the end zone. So now the other team needs a really tall guy to cover that guy in the end zone. He doesn't want that. He wants more gritty guys that do a bunch of different things. So Bill Belichick himself is the one that was like, I don't want that. And it turned out that, his combination guy, the punter / kicker, when he wasn't available, they lose the game. It is a crazy sport in that sense.
It's like, I bet Bill Belichick has the wallet on his phone that has all his cards in it. That way, if he loses his phone, he also loses all of his credit cards and everything in his wallet, his driver's license. But all he has to do is hold on to that one phone, and then he's got it all with him.
Exactly, dude. Like he probably eats every meal with a spork, right?
Just in
Like
case.
I mean, it's practical.
Special teams only sporks. He's a multi-purpose.
Warchung is in here, so they're all playing soccer in Europe. Yeah, that would check out. That's how they recruited kickers for my high school football team. They would just go to the soccer team and say, "Hey, give us a kicker."
We had the commercial about that. Was it the Gary Anderson one? I'm like, what was that? I think I was the one that told that story. But that's how they got
Mort Anderson.
That's how they got Gary Anderson to come over from I think it was South Africa or whatever. They basically were like, they were like, come kick for our team in Syracuse, kick field goals. And he was like, I'll only do it if I can be on the soccer team. And they were like, fine.
Yeah, we'll make a soccer team.
What'd you guys think about I mean, like the Patriots really, they looked good. They were making plays. I mean, Mac Jones made just enough plays to lose, but they were hanging there. It's just the Bills did a better job preparing for the playoffs. They got Naheem Hines, and they even got the backups. They went and got Cole Beasley. They went and got John Brown in case guys got hurt. Well, dude, John Brown caught like a 50-yard diving touchdown pass. So the Bills did everything right to get there. Yeah.
I was really caught off guard when I heard Smoke caught a touchdown. I was like, wait, what? I was like making a sandwich in the kitchen. I was like, you got a what?
I love Smokey.
Good to see it.
I love John Brown. Now, Coop, maybe you can help me figure this out. I don't know what to think of this Patriots team, like the state where they're at. They've got the young quarterback who it seemed like after last year there was hype towards being like the franchise guy, but now there's some questions, but he shows flashes. It doesn't seem like they've got the pieces on offense that they're like truly building around. Like they've got Ramondre Stevenson, but running backs, you don't build around a young running back necessarily unless it's Saquon Barkley. Then at receiver, Jacoby Myers is their best bet. They've got some tight ends on like pretty high paying contracts. I just don't know the direction of this Patriots team because they're a little bit too good to have that high draft capital to help rebuild that way, but they're not good enough. And doesn't seem like they're built to just drastically improve next year either.
So the plan was always for this to be a pseudo bridge year. If you look at the way Bill Belichick operates, he operates in a cyclical nature. A lot of teams do it. The Ravens do it better than anybody else, where they basically 1 year they go in and pay a bunch of money for free agents, get a bunch of guys. The next year they don't. So the Patriots did it the year before. They went and got Johnny Smith, Hunter Henry, paid all these big contracts, right? The next year, what you do is you don't bring guys in so that you can collect comp picks for the guys that leave. And then you push money forward to the next year, right? So the way the comp picks work is if a guy leaves your team in free agency and you don't sign somebody that cancels that out, they give you a compensatory pick. So the Patriots let guys leave, like J.C. Jackson left, and he is going to be either a third or fourth round comp pick. If they signed someone, it would have canceled that out. So what did they do? They traded for Devontae Parker instead. So next year they're going to get that comp pick. The Amazon money is going to hit, and the plan was to go all in next year. That's what I'm speculating. I'm not there, but I pay close attention to this. I write articles about every single team in this offseason. I write about every single team. So that's what I was predicting. The thing is, you needed Mac Jones to take a step forward. You needed them to flash and kind of, get in, lose a wild card. You need to have confidence in Mac Jones to go in and spend all that money on the wide receiver, spend all that money. I'm not sure if they're going to do that now still. But if they are confident in the player, don't be surprised when the Patriots come out and make big splashes next offseason to try and push this team over the top because they do have a lot of pieces in place. So,
as in like 2023 offseason?
This offseason coming up now.
Okay.
Because last offseason, they didn't sign anybody. They're going to get the comp pick for J.C. Jackson. They're going to get, I forget who the other guys, they are going to get probably 2 or 3 comp picks. And then they're going to have their own pick. They're going to have a ton of money because they have a bunch of money coming off the books. And again, when Amazon hits, all the teams that the cap's going to go way up. So like a lot of teams are going to have money. So I think that they're going to try and make splashes, but there's not a lot of wide receivers out there. There's not a lot of options. So
yeah, it's such a bad free agency pool for the wide receivers this year.
It really is. So we'll see, man. But that's
in play for a.
Sorry to all of those wide receivers I just said are bad.
Yeah.
It's just the pool, the collective. There's not like a huge name in there.
Scott Fish,
Scott Smith-Schuster leading the way in that class.
Scott Fish says Hunter Henry, Jonnu, Aguilar offseason. They'll be spending mad cash. That's where they're at. They set themselves up for it. That was always the plan. And you see teams do that. The Ravens, like I said, have no team has gotten more compensatory picks than the Baltimore Ravens since it's come into play, and no team has even gotten within 10 of them. They have it figured out. The Patriots are also top 5 in that category. So be interesting to see what they do. But
And
I don't
better
know.
Mac
Mac Jones.
We'll have to get creative at wide receiver this offseason, maybe via trade. And we've seen some huge wide receiver trades recently. Devontae Adams to the Raiders, A.J. Brown to the Eagles, DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals. Like, it's not absurd to see big wide receiver trades. Now, that's not generally the Patriots' MO. Yeah, Devontae Adams to the Raiders over there.
I mean, if you look at all the top wide receiver, they virtually, I mean, besides like Jamar Chase and the ones that are still on their rookie deal, they all the top dogs got traded.
Tyreek Hill,
kind of well.
Dolphins,
Stephon Diggs,
Bills.
Like that's, I guess you got to do it. You got to package up those picks and go big. That's the Rams really screwed everybody when they traded for Matt Stafford, when they just traded all their picks away and won the Super Bowl, because now everyone's trying to do that.
Do you think the Patriots are in play for any of these free agent quarterbacks this year? Do you think they're going to roll with Mac Jones? Like, are they in play for Derek Carr, for Jimmy G, for Gardner Minshew? Or is it just maybe the Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady tier that they're looking at?
I think Jimmy G, like the Jimmy G would be too lateral. Jimmy G, Baker Mayfield, that crew, that'd be too lateral of a move in my opinion. But I think Derek Carr would be a step up. I think Tom Brady would be a step up. I don't think they're going to go with somebody like, I mean, I could see maybe Ryan Tannehill. Like, Bill Belichick, he seems to have his guys. I don't know when he gets a chance to talk to these people, but have you ever noticed that like after the game, star players or certain players come over to Belichick and they just talk to him like they've been best friends forever? Like, how does he know DeAndre Hopkins? Like, why does, you know what I mean? How does he know Larry Fitz, DeAndre Hopkins? How do these guys talk to him like he's their uncle? You know what I mean? It's like great. Like Hunter Henry, before he came to the team, they would talk after the games. Like, how does he know these guys? So I'm sure he
just lays in bed at night texting.
There's a secret
like,
society.
Great game.
Is he
Really
allowed to do that? Yeah, I guess a coach is allowed to be like, "Hey, great game." You know what I mean? Or like, but he seems to know certain players. Like, he knows these guys. So I imagine he's got his own list of guys that we'll never know until they show up.
We got Scott Fish in here. When asking where Carr goes, he said, I was at a birthday party with a Bucks fan last night who said he wouldn't mind him being a Buck if Brady leaves. Joey, you're a Buccaneers fan over there. How do you feel about Derek Carr to the Bucks? Would you be all right with that?
When I saw Scott Fish say, where does Carr go? I was like, well, I'm going to say Tampa Bay because, I don't think Tampa Bay is going to win the Super Bowl this year. I'm sorry. I don't think they're going to. And I think if they don't, Brady will go either somewhere else, maybe San Francisco. You're hearing all kinds of rumors, so I'm not going to speculate on that. But who comes in after he leaves? Because Kyle Trask is not it. And Derek Carr would be my pick. I would be super excited if Derek Carr came to the Bucs because I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's had a bad situation in Las Vegas / Oakland.
Yeah, you give him Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I think he could be fantastic in that offense. No, it would be a ton of fun to see Derek Carr down there in Tampa Bay. I think that's probably one of the better landing spots for him as far as teams that he could end up on. Like, I'd rather see him there than on the Panthers. Like,
or the Colts.
Or the Colts. You got to be much happier with him in Tampa Bay than you would be in either of those.
Because then Devontae Adams will come to Tampa Bay too.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
It doesn't work that way.
That would be disgusting. Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans on the same team. And Tommy the Jet said, easy, Joey. Easy,
it was a joke. It was a joke.
Whoa. Then the salary cap would really be a joke.
Yeah.
That's when we know it's actually a myth. That's going to be it for us today, guys. I want to thank everybody who came in and hung out with us bright and early this morning, this Monday morning in January 9th, 2023. The national championship is tonight, TCU versus UGA. So enjoy that game, and we're going to start getting prepped for some postseason football. The wildcard weekend starting this weekend as well. Stick around here on BSN today. We got Moose and Keith coming up next, followed by Lunch Money presented by Fantasy Guru, then Corey Nando and friends after that. And guys, join our NFL Fantasy Playoff Contest sponsored by Lucra. You can find the link on bettersports.com or right here in the app as well. Compete against us. We will be back tomorrow morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, though, we are out of here. Thank you again, everybody, for hanging out. Hasta mañana.
Bye, everybody.